Sanity week, I sat in the chair and I asked the doctor, please, just give me good baseball against the New York Mets. Game 1, they win 1-0. Aaronola dazzled. The bullpen was great. Nick Castellanos came through. And then in Game 2, we got what John Kincade ordered, a beatdown of the Mets. Phillies win 9-3 last night. Nick Castellanos once again, a big 2-run double in the first inning.
Setting the tone.
You had a spectacular outing by Ranger Suarez where he struck out 12 over 6 innings. You got the job done, kind of, by Robertson, Banks, and Lazar. They each gave up a run, but they were up big at that point. And, of course, the big moment that took place yesterday when the Phillies were up. They had 4 runs in the game. There was a bet between John and Connor about how many runs would be scored. There were 4 runs for the Phillies through 6 innings. It looked like John's bet was heading toward a loss until Kyle Schwarber stepped up to the plate.
3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50! Kyle Schwarber has just hit his 50th home run of the season. He's the second Philly to do it. And they now lead it 7-1.
And that, of course, Tom McCarthy, courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Pop.
Home run number 50 for Kyle Schwarber last night. It was his only hit, which maybe that's a good sign for things to come because we've seen Schwarber in a bit of a rut right now. But number 50, Johnny, and it continues to be, because baseball's harder, it's a longer season, one of the most dominant seasons that we have been able to see played by a member of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Well, 3 hits between Schwarber and Harper, which is nice.
Yeah.
That was nice. We asked for that, too. So, I mean, it was a great night. That's a great night. You get pitching like that. You get the clutch hit again from Castellanos, which I find just humorous. That Castellanos just is he's the poster child for he's the guy that they're saying everything is wrong about the Phillies because of him. And he's the guy who keeps coming across in clutch situations for the Phillies.
He seems to be a guy. We talked about the last time the Phillies played the Mets when you were out on vacation, that the Mets seemed to be a big, light team. Nick Castellanos is a big, light player. He is. We've seen it in multiple postseasons now where he has been one of the better players. Last year, the streak, whether you cared or not about how many times he went out there, he played every single day. And then, of course, had the good series, one of the only good players from the Phillies in that series against the Mets last year. And now in a big spot in Game 1 against the Mets where they needed 1 run to win the ball game. He was the lone guy to drive in the run, and then the 2 runs double yesterday. I still hope, John, that he can sort of get himself back into a way where he is your everyday right fielder so that you're not platooning right field, because I think he is your best option still in right field.
He's had more clutch hits for this team this year than Bryce Harper's had. And he is a guy who is again, he's been made the poster child of everything that's bad. Look, he had a terrible streak.
Horrible.
From July 1st to August 15th, he absolutely had a 6-week streak that was ridiculously bad.
Deserving of not being in the lineup some days.
No question. And that was the thing, is that whole streak of playing every day, and that's Topper's fault. That's all Topper's fault of last year, keeping that thing alive for no reason at all. There was no reason to worry about the Iron Man streak. He was never going to be an Iron Man, but it's great to see Nick Castellanos just continue to answers the bell in big situations. He's not intimidated by the Mets. I wasn't intimidated by the Mets. 9-game lead. Everybody okay? Everybody all right? 2 weeks ago?
See, I don't know why you do this.
I
really don't.
Because I don't understand.
The Mets knocked the Phillies out of the playoffs last year. The Mets have
I understand,
had
but
the head-to-head record this year.
I understand.
This series has been a lot better. I don't know why you do that.
Because 2 weeks ago, it was panic in the streets.
It should have been.
I just completely disagree with you both.
Yeah, but you call people simpletons. I saw your tweet yesterday. Loyalists.
If you're sitting there going, you cannot win because if they play the Mets, they cannot win. And I can show you any one of a number of 50, because thankfully one of my listeners went back and went through my own feed and could show you 50 people going, This is. They can't beat the Mets.
What happened?
You're ridiculous.
To not listening to 50 people on social media? You try to give us that.
That's not. No. That's not
all
one.
the time.
That's not 5. That's not 10. That was the Mets series causing people to go, if they play the Mets, season's over. Can't beat the Mets. You can. It's as if 2 weeks ago was 2 weeks ago. This week is this week. Last October was last October. And this October will be this October. That's why I do it. Because baseball, it's as if people don't understand what baseball is. Baseball's week to week. Baseball's month to month. 1 week, one month, Nick Castellanos is the biggest black hole in the lineup.
Sure.
And right now, Nick Castellanos is got the clutch gene. It happens. It's baseball. And with this Phillies team, they've given you enough reason to go, they're not choking this division away.
Look,
people were calling for it 2 weeks ago.
Sure, there were some people that thought the Mets were going to come back in the division 2 weeks ago.
And Andrew, there were people picking the Mets to beat the Phillies in August. I mean, there were.
Yeah, after the trade deadline.
I got you. So
I had baseball reasons. It wasn't like just doom and gloom Phillies hatred. Like there was baseball reasons behind it.
I don't think it's people hating the Phillies. I think it's people not looking at what they are. And I think that this is the second best team in the league. And 2 weeks ago, they were still the second best team in the league.
Yeah, and 2 weeks ago, you could say that the Mets, whether you want to say week to week, the Phillies play good baseball or bad baseball, you could say that a team like the Mets had the Phillies number, where they may have
they did
tendencies. You play that team enough. We saw for whatever reason, finally last night they were able to hit Sean Manaea, right? For whatever reason,
Correct.
Sean Manaea had a book on the Philadelphia Phillies in the playoffs last year, regular season last year, and up until last night, he had a book on the Phillies where he was able to pitch effectively. So it's not like just, oh my God, the Mets, oh my God, the Phillies. There is a reason why a team can beat a team over and over again. Now, fortunately, as this has been sanity week, as I've been saying since Monday morning before Game 1, this has been a good return
so we can put
for
this
what we've
all
seen
away.
so far.
All the Mets paranoia, we can put it away, right?
It should make everybody feel better. I feel better this morning after 2 wins against a team that you could not beat.
Yeah, it's not like up in the attic where it's stored away forever where you never see it. It's just in a closet right now.
Now, look, if they played the Mets in a postseason series, I would feel less confidence than if they played, I'm trying to think. If they played the Padres, I'd feel less confidence playing the Mets. I'd give you that. I'd feel less. I may even feel less confidence playing the Mets than if they played the Dodgers, just because the Phillies tend to play the Dodgers well. So I'll give you that. But this Phillies team, I mean, they were getting trashed. They were getting trashed.
At that time, deservedly so. 13-3, a 6-0 loss. Like, deservedly. Like, those 3 games, because those games were bigger than a series against the Marlins. It's a series where you're trying to figure out what the team is made of, and they got swept. And so far, they are now up 2-0 in this series and could potentially, I don't know, could they sweep the Mets in 4 games? Doesn't necessarily matter if they win this series 3 out of 4.
So if they do that, what are the people who
it makes everybody feel better. That's the thing. Like, when they got swept by the Mets for the second time this year, I think everybody had the right to be upset.
But did everybody ignore, again though, but it's everybody ignoring the fact that they have the best record against playoff teams. They have the best record against teams that are going to be playing in October. So that was totally disregarded, all because of the Mets.
Yes, because it wasn't a skill conversation. It wasn't these guys can't play baseball. It's that mentally these guys are defeated by their biggest divisional opponent, and that is sad.
But they weren't defeated. They just had a bad week. They had a bad run. And you know what? Now they're having a good run. And you know what? I think the truth falls somewhere in the middle. If they go out and let's say they win again tonight against the Mets, and they win the first 3 games of this series, I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. They sweep 3 in a row, and then they get ready trying to get the 4th tomorrow night, and then they lose the 3 2 weeks ago. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. Sure. It's like, it doesn't mean the Mets suck. Doesn't mean the Phillies suck. It means that the Mets are on a bad tear. Phillies were on a bad tear.
I just think it's a little too aggressive to call people simpletons or to like rip fans for being upset the last time they played the Mets.
I'll call someone a simpleton if they were the ones saying the division was going to be lost. Yes, I will. The division was going to be lost. Yes.
Okay.
That's it. That's on that one.
Well, look, good for
I trust them.
Good for the Phillies bouncing back. Last time they played them, they looked like crap. So good job for the Phillies for winning 2 games against a team that they're better than.
Good for the second best team in baseball.
All right, coming up next. We have seen 2 dominant seasons in a calendar year. Basically, we're 1 year removed since the Eagles began the 2024 season and Saquon Barkley rushed for over 2,000 yards. Where do these dominant seasons rank for you? We'll discuss that coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The summer's here, and you know what that means. We're talking to Tim McManus here of ESPN, and a lot was made, I know, certainly by us and just in talking leading up to the game, some callers, fans we were getting reaction from, about the new offensive coordinator and how it would look. How did you assess, kind of going deeper into that point just brought up of Hurts and Patullo in the operation, how did you assess the operation from a full game standpoint, given how hot it started and then how stagnant it got a little bit late?
Well, the fact that it started out hot is different. I mean, if we remember back from last year and people pulling their hair out because they couldn't score in the first quarter, that was a storyline that lasted, into November, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was...
We got to do the old
slow start.
Julio Jones is the last Eagle to have a first quarter touchdown. I remember breaking out that stat every week for about 2 months.
Yeah, and then here they came right out of the gates and they scored some touchdowns. So at least that puts that narrative to bed and shows that Patullo had a game plan that was effective early on, and then things slowed down. It's kind of a weird game to assess because both offenses really started to stall after the delay of game, and nobody could be stopped, before the lightning came, and then after the lightning came, nobody could score. So how much of that is Patullo adjustments, etc. There were a couple corner blitzes in succession that I watched where the offense just didn't really seem to have a great answer for. So I don't think it was a perfect game for Patullo. I think there are things to clean up, but I think if you look at it as a whole, the fact that it's his first game calling plays, first game working that operation with Jalen Hurts, and that they got off to that fast start, there's probably more encouraging things than not to build off of.
Speaking of encouraging, Jahad Campbell just absolutely, I thought, acquitted himself more than adequately. Playing alongside a guy like Zach Bond, I think that Vic Fangio, for me, a guy like Vic Fangio that wants to be able to run certain things, he's got two guys that are going to be able to run, I think, everything that he would like to run. You gave him car keys to 2 Maseratis, and I think that this is something that I think he's going to get better. He's still going to make those mistakes, and you're going to see that, but I would think that that's a guy that certainly has turned a lot of heads and has given into some of the expectations at this point early on.
An embarrassment of riches at linebacker.
Right?
What
who are we? Who are we?
What is going on? I don't even know who we are anymore. And Campbell, I agree. What a debut. He flashed every day during training camp. It wasn't always perfect. In fact, I think in pass coverage was really sometimes where it got shaky. I remember a couple times that he gave up, whether it was a wheel route against Will Shipley or a touchdown to where he blew an assignment during the joint practices against the Browns, and you're like, okay, the passing game's maybe where he needs some refinement, and then you see that play where he just carries the field with Ferguson and comes up with that PBU, and it's like linebackers really don't do that. So you recognize that you have a special talent, and to your point, Amy, it's paired with another special talent in Zach Bond, who has a similar skill set in that way. That just opens up so many things. While we're talking about the restrictions in the secondary with the questions at safety and CB2 in particular, the flip side of that for Fangio is that if you have 2 linebackers like that, man, how creative can you get? And what different looks can you present an offense that they're not normally presented because they just don't have that ability at the linebacker position? So it's a new day in Philadelphia, I guess.
Here on 97.5, The Fanatic. Kyle Schwarber, home run number 50 yesterday. A day of celebration because it's a day that we have not seen much of in Phillies franchise history. And quite frankly, we haven't seen much of it in Major League Baseball history. I have today, and I'll give you the first one probably around 6:40 before we check our text messages. I have every player that has hit at least 50 home runs in a season. And I have trivia questions that I create. That's what I do for my friends. I come up with barroom trivia questions.
That's always good.
Obviously, you guys will know some of the obvious ones. Let's just take Babe Ruth and Barry Bonds off the table because we know that those guys hit 50-plus home runs in a season. So I have a lot of trivia questions that I will give your way throughout the course of the show today. In honor of Kyle Schwarber hitting number 50 last night. Rob Thompson.
You think that's it for Kyle, though, that he gets that off? I saw our own Dylan McTrollan tweeting out last night that he thinks that getting that monkey off his back will now take this slump and put it aside, that now we're going to see him more relaxed. That's a major milestone.
It is.
50 home runs, that maybe now we see him a little more relaxed because he hasn't looked himself.
No, he hasn't.
For 2 weeks.
Or he just went through a rut. I mean, it does happen, right?
Sure.
And this isn't the first time he had a rough stretch at some point this season, and he's still been one of the best players in the National League, which is why there were times where he was having legitimate MVP conversations. Here was Rob Thompson after the game inside the clubhouse. Phillies obviously celebrating their second straight win over the Mets, but also number 50.
Everybody good? First of all, I want to acknowledge Stoddy, 500 base hits in the big leagues. Second of all, Schwarber, you've had an unbelievable year. We're not done yet. 50 homers in a season. You're the 34th person to hit 50 in the history of the game. Congratulations. You've had a hell of a year. You're a gift.
All right, good for Topper.
That's outstanding.
500 hits for Bryson Stott in his Major League career. And, of course, now just the 34th player in Major League Baseball history to have 50 home runs in a season. So where does this rank? Where does Saquon rank? Because in one calendar year, we've seen 2 dominant seasons.
Like milestone
Marks. So where do they rank for some? Like, when do you think of other milestones? I think of Ryan Howard's season. I think of Jimmy Rollins, the 2020 club, which was ridiculous. Only, I think, 5 other players or 4 other players have done it in Major League history.
Now, the weird thing is I never think of that one.
See, I think of that one. Maybe because I was there.
And I love Jimmy Rollins.
I was at the game when he hit the triple, the final game of the season, and he was one of my favorite players.
Like, to me, Jimmy Rollins is the face of that era.
Yeah.
Like, for me, when you say the Rollins, Utley, Howard, I always think of Rollins first. He's just the guy for me. But I never think of that number, and it's so impressive.
It is. It's
ridiculous.
See
actually,
how many times it's happened. Rollins obviously did it. Curtis Granderson, I remember, did it. They did it the same year. They both did it in
really?
07. And then you had Willie Mays and Frank Schultz back in 1911. His nickname was the Wildfire.
Yeah, he had a good year that year. I remember that one.
He did, yeah. So
you did that on the Locked On?
It's amazing. 4 players all time, 2 of which did it in the same season, which is crazy, actually.
Yeah, that was the Locked On Phillies telegram, Johnny.
Yeah,
that was good.
That was a good one.
The Pony Express.
Where do they
delivered it.
rank? Like, I'm trying to think of other like, obviously we saw Embiid with the season where he was averaging 30 plus, but unfortunately he missed half of it.
83. Moses Malone.
Sure,
was ridiculous. The Sixers toyed with the entire NBA that year.
Yeah,
it was almost boring. It's hard to believe. You were watching a dominant season, and it was almost disinteresting.
Yeah, right.
Because they were clowning everybody, and there really wasn't any drama.
Even throughout the playoffs, too.
No, there was no drama to it. You thought it was going to be faux, and it ended up being faux, 5-0.
Right. Like, obviously, we weren't around for Wilt, but I imagine somebody could call in and be like, "Oh, back in 1950, I saw Wilt Chamberlain average 50 points a game." Like, obviously that's pretty good.
And did he score 100?
More modern, you could go 08 Brad Lidge.
Sure,
with the
that
perfect
was an
year.
amazing year.
Look, it's a perfect season. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that is an absolute dominant season. So these guys,
that may have been the hardest thing to do too. Honestly,
yeah, just perfect.
Yeah,
to never have. What was he? 48 for
48.
Yes,
yeah,
that may have been the hardest of all of them to do. I would think that Schwarber's less difficult than Saquon's. Is that fair? Or
yes.
not?
Yeah, because of the amount of games played.
Correct.
But
And
you're
also-
playing every day, right? Whereas
right.
Not that football's not a grueling sport, but like you do have a week in between games. You got to go out there every single night.
Yep, you do.
And you know what I mean? Like,
it was unbelievable.
You could go 10 games without hitting a home run.
You feel great for Schwarber, too.
Absolutely.
And
So
a great celebration.
Where do these 2 dominant seasons that we've seen in a calendar year rank for you? You could text in. You could call in at 610-632-0975. Reacting to a Phillies win again over the Mets. Where are you when it comes to your sanity? Obviously, everybody should be feeling better after these first 2 games, despite wherever you were the last time this Phillies team played the Mets. Also, coming up next, the Eagles got great news yesterday. The right news, despite what other people in this city believe. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils hang 9 on the Mets. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies took down the Mets easily last night behind a 9-run, 13-hit performance and an awesome start by Ranger Suarez. Suarez followed up Aaron Nola's dazzling start on Monday with one of his own, going 6 scoreless, allowing 1 hit and tallying a career-high 12 strikeouts. But that wasn't the only milestone of the night.
3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50! Kyle Schwarber has just hit his 50th home run of the season.
That audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Great call by T-Mac there. Schwarber becomes just the second player in Phillies history to hit 50 homers in a season. The Phils lead in the division is now up to 9 games. Game 3 against the Mets is tonight at 6:45. Christopher Sanchez faces Clay Holmes. The Eagles got good news on Jaylen Carter's availability yesterday as the NFL has decided not to suspend him for Week 2. We'll get our first injury report of the week today ahead of the matchup with Kansas City. Nick Sirianni also meets with the media coming up at 12:10. We'll talk to Steve Degler, the voice of the Iron Pigs, for a little look at the farm at 7:30. Adam Schefter joins us 7:55. This update's brought to you by AAA Tire and Auto Service. Save up to $30 on auto repair with the AAA Triple Play only at AAA Tire and Auto Service. Offer valid through September 30th. Details at AAA.com/mycar. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic.
We're talking to Tim McManus here of ESPN, and a lot was made, I know, certainly by us, and just in talking leading up to the game, some callers, fans we were getting reaction from, about the new offensive coordinator and how it would look. How did you assess, kind of going deeper into that point just brought up of Hurts and Patullo in the operation, how did you assess the operation from a full game standpoint, given how hot it started and then how stagnant it got a little bit late?
Well, the fact that it started out hot is different. I mean, if we remember back from last year and people pulling their hair out because they couldn't score in the first quarter, that was a storyline that lasted, into November, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was...
We got to do the old
slow start.
Julio Jones is the last Eagle to have a first quarter touchdown. I remember breaking out that stat every week for about 2 months.
Yeah, and then here they came right out of the gates and they scored some touchdowns. So at least that puts that narrative to bed and shows that Patullo had a game plan that was effective early on, and then things slowed down. It's kind of a weird game to assess because both offenses really started to stall after the delay of game, and nobody could be stopped, before the lightning came, and then after the lightning came, nobody could score. So how much of that is Patullo adjustments, etc. There were a couple corner blitzes in succession that I watched where the offense just didn't really seem to have a great answer for. So I don't think it was a perfect game for Patullo. I think there are things to clean up, but I think if you look at it as a whole, the fact that it's his first game calling plays, first game working that operation with Jalen Hurts, and that they got off to that fast start, there's probably more encouraging things than not to build off of.
Speaking of encouraging, Jahad Campbell just absolutely, I thought, acquitted himself more than adequately. Playing alongside a guy like Zach Bond, I think that Vic Fangio, for me, a guy like Vic Fangio that wants to be able to run certain things, he's got 2 guys that are going to be able to run, I think, everything that he would like to run. You gave him car keys to 2 Maseratis, and I think that this is something that I think he's going to get better. He's still going to make those mistakes, and you're going to see that, but I would think that that's a guy that certainly has turned a lot of heads and has given into some of the expectations at this point early on. An
embarrassment of riches at linebacker.
Right.
What
who are we? Who are we?
What is going on? I don't even know who we are anymore. At Campbell, I agree. What a debut. He flashed every day during training camp. It wasn't always perfect. In fact, I think in pass coverage was really sometimes where it got shaky. I remember a couple times that he gave up, whether it was a wheel route against Will Shipley or a touchdown to where he blew an assignment during the joint practices against the Browns, and you're like, okay, the passing game's maybe where he needs some refinement, and then you see that play where he just carries the field with Ferguson and comes up with that PBU, and it's like linebackers really don't do that. So you recognize that you have a special talent, and to your point, Amy, it's paired with another special talent in Zach Bond, who has a similar skill set in that way. That just opens up so many things. While we're talking about the restrictions in the secondary with the questions at safety and CB2 in particular, the flip side of that for Fangio is that if you have two linebackers like that, like, man, how creative can you get? And what different looks can you present an offense that they're not normally presented because they just don't have that ability at the linebacker position. So it's a new day in Philadelphia, I guess.
The Fanatic on this Wednesday morning, a Schefty Wednesday. Adam Schefter will be joining us coming up at 7:55, reacting to the Phillies' win over the Mets last night and the 50th home run of the season by Kyle Schwarber. We want to react to that to start at 610-632-0975. Where does his dominant season rank among some of the other dominant individual seasons that you have seen in Philadelphia sports? And it's amazing that we have seen two in a calendar year. If you go back to the start of last season's Eagles season when Saquon Barkley rushes for over 2,000 yards and has the performances that he does in the playoffs. And that's why he wins, NFC Offensive Player of the Year. And so there's two in one calendar year, which is amazing. Like, we are in the golden days. Despite the Phillies not winning the World Series, despite the Sixers constantly beating us down, and the Flyers are in a rebuild, we are in a really, really good era of Philadelphia sports, John. It's something I've been saying for years. It's something that I've gotten crap for because there's only been one title. Man, it could be a lot worse. You could be Cleveland.
You can be. And I had one of the here on Twitter, one of those Embiid stan accounts giving me grief going, I thought you gave just the golf clap for Embiid getting 70. Why all this love and applause for Kyle Schwarber hitting 50? Because the Phillies are good? Because it's contributing to the Phillies winning?
Well, Sixers are good that year.
It's not just anything. I mean, he's more talking about, he's trying to give me the 70-point game that I was talking about, the 70-point game with the Spurs. It was the Spurs, right?
Yep, against Wemby.
Sunday night. You went that game.
I went to see Wemby, and I watched Embiid drop 70.
He goes 70.
It was pretty cool.
He goes 70 points, barely got a golf clap out of you. Yeah, because it didn't mean anything. It was a one-off, and I did. I give it a clap. I said that was it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch one-off. This is about, first of all, just something that's actually contributing to the team doing something. Doing something great, by the way. Yes. This team has a chance to do something great.
By the way, somebody mentioned it on YouTube. MBD, thank you, MBD, saying that Corbin Carroll could be the next 2020 person. He's 4 triple shy.
I have like bad thoughts with Corbin Carroll.
Well, yeah, because you think of the Diamondbacks and what happened in 2023, and that's why people feel a certain type of way about this Phillies
I just
team.
hate that. I hate Corbin Carroll. No. You see, I look at that as I look at it more differently though. I look at it as the Phillies just literally crap themselves more than what the Diamondbacks did. I look at it as not.
That's the point I'm making.
But because I really do think that when the Mets beat the Phillies last year, the Mets literally beat them up and took it from them. The Phillies gagged it away against the Diamondbacks. The Phillies didn't gag it away last year. The Mets were the better team in that playoff series. The Mets were the better team. I think the Mets were the better team in every game, but we were lucky to win the one.
Right, because Castellanos was
Superman.
Yeah.
Another, again, the clutch gene. He's got it.
Has this sanity week made you feel better about the Phillies? It's something that I desperately needed to see. You heard it in the open when the show first started at 6 o'clock. That was from Monday morning before Game 1 that I needed to see them play good baseball. I got an October-like feel game in Game 1 when they win 1-0. And then last night, a 9-3 bludgeoning of the Mets, which, man, does that feel good. And Kyle Schwarber hitting number 50.
And the Mets are 2 games up now on the Giants. The Giants are 2 games behind the Mets for the last wild card.
You know what would be great? Knocking them out altogether. That would be nice.
Well, if you go and win the next 2 games, you got a chance. And then we all become huge Giants fans for another reason.
Yes.
The Giants play the Dodgers 7 of the next 10 games.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. And by the way, in the 3 that they don't, the Phillies play the Dodgers.
Okay.
So we're going to be enthralled with the San Francisco Giants and hoping that they can knock the Mets out.
Even though I still hate them for what they did to us.
See, you go back to that.
15 years ago.
And again, I think that Giants team, I look at them and I go, they took it from us.
Yeah. 15 years ago.
I still
hate Cody freaking Ross.
The Diamondbacks didn't take it from us. The Giants took it from us, and it pisses me off to this day. I still can't believe it.
Has this Sanity Week made you feel better? Answer that question alongside the where does this dominant season from Kyle Schwarber rank for you among other dominant seasons in Philadelphia sports? 610-632-0975. Eagles got very good news yesterday. Jaylen Carter will not be suspended. Basically, what the league said was he served his time because he basically missed the entire game in week 1, which is what I think a lot of people were expecting. I think the biggest thing was Lamar Jackson did something even worse, and they weren't going to suspend Lamar. So if you're not going to suspend Lamar, you can't suspend Jaylen Carter. So Jaylen Carter will be in action for week 2's game against Kansas City Chiefs. Now, we will see. Do the Eagles do something? Nick Sirianni, when he was asked about it in his press conference earlier in the week, he said all that stuff's in-house. You will see on Sunday.
What do you think? They suspended him for being late to meetings.
Right. Maybe a quarter again.
What do you think should happen? If you're suspending a guy for being late to meetings, isn't this far more egregious?
Oh, it's 100% more egregious.
Because this really screwed over his teammates.
But he has missed the game. I expect them not to because he missed the entire first game. I think they take the same stance as the NFL. He served his time.
I'm just curious because, look, Vic Fangio even said, hey, that's up to Nick. I don't know. Like, Vic Fangio did not.
No, he didn't.
And you know Vic's blunt, right? So Vic Fangio, the reason why we're even having this conversation is there's a chance. Because Vic Fangio himself said, yeah, that's up to Nick. You know,
that's up to him.
I don't know what they're going to do. Again, to John's point, they suspended him for being late to meetings. Now, I'm not sitting here saying I want him to teach him a lesson. No, I want him on the field for 4 quarters against Patrick Mahomes. But
and by the way, I heard yesterday that was reportedly 2 meetings. It was 2 meetings in the course of a training camp meeting and then a beginning of the season meeting that he was late for. And so you're talking about 2 meetings got him missed a quarter. That to me is a little shocking. That's a little shocking right there. Is that you got to? I'm going to be surprised if they just let this thing go. If they don't do something.
I will be surprised as well. I will be surprised as well.
I will actually, though. I think I'm going to be happy if they don't.
But so this is
which is hypocritical.
This is one of those, dude. You used the perfect word. If my son did that, go to your room, no TV, right? No snacks. Go to your room, come down for dinner. All right. If you spit on somebody. But my son's not playing Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend, right? Like, I want to see Jaylen Carter. And I saw what happened with the Eagles' defense without Carter. And it is hypocritical.
Here's what I'd say, though, is would you Cooper's playing sports or something. Or Cooper has a big event. I don't want to say sports because, like, if your kid gets in trouble with something, you don't want to screw over teammates. Like if your kid has a commitment to a team,
sure,
and you have something goes on at home, I think it's really rotten for parents to go, well, he did something bad at home, so he's not allowed to play in the game this week. It's a commitment to the team.
Sure, it's gonna be devastating to the Sewell Little League.
No. But I'm talking about
Rail Dogs.
But I saw it happen with kids with high school, where parents decided that they did something bad at home, so they're going to keep them from playing a high school sport. And I'm like, okay, that screws over their high school teammates.
It depends on what was bad. Right? Was it they were 5 minutes past curfew, or did they?
How about I'm going to
something egregious?
How about I'm going to tell you? You'd be very surprised.
All right, well, okay.
It's not. It's
but
not.
This is spitting on a person.
I understand.
You know what I mean? Like this is a little bit different.
I really believe they should. That he deserves more because they didn't suspend him. They didn't answer it.
Right.
They didn't answer this.
I don't want it to happen.
But I don't want them suspend. But I also don't want it to happen.
It's a very hypocritical
thing. So that is hypocritical.
Yeah.
Completely Complete hypocrite.
And we try not to be on this show, but
I'm raising my hand. Complete
damn, do
hypocrite.
I want to see Jaylen Carter's hands in the face of Patrick Mahomes again, much like the Super Bowl. Like, I would like to see that again and start the season 2-0. All right, coming up next, the Eagles, as we know, got great news. We'll react to that on the text line at 610-632-0975, as well as the dominant individual seasons. And has Sanity Week made you feel better about the Phillies?
I want to hear some of these answers.
I really do, too, because, look, I can't help myself. I hate the Mets so much. I do feel better today.
And I think that's what it was. I think this is what it's all been about.
Part of it's the Mets.
No, I think it's 90% Mets.
So answer those
obsession.
questions. Also, I have the 50 home run season trivia questions that you can play at home that I will throw by way of John and Connor as well. It is Kincade and Salciunas on this Wednesday morning, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoons feel like...
We're talking to Tim McManus here of ESPN, and a lot was made, I know, certainly by us, and just in talking leading up to the game, some callers, fans we were getting reaction from, about the new offensive coordinator and how it would look. How did you assess, kind of going deeper into that point you just brought up of Hurts and Patullo in the operation, how did you assess the operation from a full game standpoint, given how hot it started and then how stagnant it got a little bit late?
Well, the fact that it started out hot is different. I mean, if we remember back from last year and people pulling their hair out because they couldn't score in the first quarter, that was a storyline that lasted, into November, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was...
We got to do the old
slow start.
Julio
right.
Jones is the last Eagle to have a first quarter touchdown. I remember breaking out that stat every week for about 2 months.
Yeah, and then here they came right out of the gates and they scored some touchdowns. So at least that puts that narrative to bed and shows that Patullo had a game plan that was effective early on, and then things slowed down. It's kind of a weird game to assess because both offenses really started to stall after the delay of game. And nobody could be stopped, before the lightning came, and then after the lightning came, nobody could score. So, how much of that is Patullo adjustments, etc. There were a couple corner blitzes in succession that I watched where the offense just didn't really seem to have a great answer for. So I don't think it was a perfect game for Patullo. I think there are things to clean up, but I think if you look at it as a whole, the fact that it's his first game calling plays, first game working that operation with Jalen Hurts, and that they got off to that fast start, there's probably more encouraging things than not to build off of.
Speaking of encouraging, Jahad Campbell just absolutely, I thought, acquitted himself more than adequately. Playing alongside a guy like Zach Bond, I think that Vic Fangio, for me, a guy like Vic Fangio that wants to be able to run certain things, he's got two guys that are going to be able to run, I think, everything that he would like to run. You gave him car keys to 2 Maseratis, and I think that this is something that I think he's going to get better. He's still going to make those mistakes, and you're going to see that, but I would think that that's a guy that certainly has turned a lot of heads and has given into some of the expectations at this point early on.
An embarrassment of riches at linebacker.
Right?
What
who are we? Who are we?
What is going on? I don't even know who we are anymore. At Campbell, I agree. What a debut. He flashed every day during training camp. It wasn't always perfect. In fact, I think in pass coverage was really sometimes where it got shaky. I remember a couple times that he gave up, whether it was a wheel route against Will Shipley or a touchdown to where he blew an assignment during the joint practices against the Browns, and you're like, okay, the passing game's maybe where he needs some refinement. And then you see that play where he just carries the field with Ferguson and comes up with that PBU. And it's like, linebackers really don't do that. So you recognize that you have a special talent. And to your point, Amy, it's paired with another special talent in Zach Bond, who has a similar skill set in that way. That just opens up so many things. While we're talking about the restrictions in the secondary with the questions at safety and CB2 in particular, the flip side of that for Fangio is that if you have 2 linebackers like that, man, how creative can you get? And what different looks can you present an offense that they're not normally presented because they just don't have that ability at the linebacker position? So it's a new day in Philadelphia, I guess.
on Sanity Week. Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5. The Fanatic. Phillies 2-0 to start this 4-game series with the New York Mets. Are you feeling better about the Phillies? Yesterday, we asked about what you needed to see to increase your hope. Now I just asked you, has this therapy session, which has been 2 wins for the Phillies, made you feel better? It's like when you leave church, right, John?
Yes.
You leave church, you always feel you feel spry.
That's
after you leave church.
That's if Father McGowan and Father Riley were brief in their very good in their very poignant messages.
Yeah, but nobody's left church like, oh man, I feel worse about myself. No, you leave church, you feel good.
No, sometimes you get we have great priests in our parish, thankfully, but every once in a while you get like you get
about the priest. I'm talking about you.
Well, sometimes you get a bad message though.
That could be that could be
or you
true.
feel guilty about the message you hear.
That could be true. Well,
and got to clean up my act.
I don't feel guilty about what the Phillies have done the last 2 games, and I don't feel guilty for what I've said about them in the past because I have been bothered by this team all season long, ever since I got back from spring training. But hell, 2 wins against the Mets will make anybody happy. Let's hope for 2 more. You can text in at 610-632-0975. Now, we're going to have fun with this all day today because Kyle Schwarber, let's hear it one more time from Tom McCarthy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Kyle Schwarber hitting numero 50 last night.
3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50! Kyle Schwarber has just hit his 50th home run of the season. He's the second Philly to do it. And they now lead it 7-1.
So 50 home runs for Kyle Schwarber, just the 34th player in Major League Baseball history to have accomplished that. So I have a bunch of questions for you guys.
Lovely.
What lovely.
And we're going to have fun with this.
I like trivia.
I don't think I've ever heard you use the word lovely.
Well,
that's an interesting word for Connor.
He thinks to switch it up. Lovely. He's Mr. Locked On Phillies podcast. And if you're playing at home, YouTube,
I think it's Sucre's influence.
That might be it too. He's a very nice man.
Yes.
So if you're playing at home, obviously follow along. So I'm going to give John and Connor their first one before we get to the text line here. We all know that Kyle Schwarber is the second Philly to have hit 50 home runs. Ryan Howard the first to have done that. Who was the other player in 2006 to have hit 50-plus home runs? Told you I got good ones.
That's going to be a tough one.
2006.
It was 2006.
2 players hit 50-plus home runs. Ryan Howard had 58. This person had 54.
Wasn't Miggy, was it?
It was not.
National League team?
No.
I had the wrong guy. I don't know. I don't have it.
Now, you know that it's American League.
Okay.
And you know the rules are different today. There's another hint for you.
Designated hitter, David Ortiz.
It is David Ortiz.
Great call,
Big Poppy
Connor.
hit 54 home runs in 2006. So 2 players.
I don't even remember that. Like, I don't even remember.
That was the year he got MVP votes, and then people were like, you can't vote for an DH to be MVP.
Unless
I just don't get. Like,
unless he has an interpreter that takes the fall for him in a gambling scandal.
That's a good point.
Yes.
That's a good point.
See,
all right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? At 610-632-0975.
All right, first check in today. Joe from the Northeast says, Phillies got to do it in October. Nothing will change my mind on that. Yeah, this is nice, but I've seen them have good regular
before
seasons.
you pop off.
Here we go.
Before you pop off.
What?
I don't blame anybody for still having that opinion.
And you can't. You have the option to not blame anybody for having that opinion, and I have the option to say, "Bull crap." I do blame people for that opinion. Just because something happens one year doesn't happen the next year. Dodger fans could have had this same opinion when they choked all the time in the postseason.
Then why don't you say about
and
the
then
Sixers?
they won in 2020.
Then why don't you say it about the Sixers?
Because the Sixers haven't been out of the second round. As if you're 26 years old, you haven't seen the Sixers out of the second round in your lifetime. The Dodgers had been to knocking on the door World Series or in World Series and hadn't won. And Dodger fans complain. Oh, they can't get it done. And then they get it done. And then it's, they choke again. And then they win another World Series. Each year is its own entity. It's its own. The Texas freaking Rangers won a World Series 2 years ago. It's just it's maddening. It's baseball. This isn't like other sports. This is baseball. Weird teams win all the time.
Sure.
And what happened one year doesn't mean a damn thing the next year.
Well,
It doesn't.
That's not fair. Because we have, or you guys have ripped Nick Sirianni for saying we're not learning from the past and forgetting everything about.
It's a different sport. Football's a different sport.
I got you, but still, you have to look at past experiences in the postseason, especially when the roster has remained largely the same, and say I still have worries about this team in October.
And unfortunately,
you can say you have worries. But to say till they do it in October, this is the second best team in baseball. And you're not, and that is a person who is not enjoying themselves. That's a person who is like, I don't even give a damn about this. I don't care. Not till October. That's awful. That is awful. It's an awful way to, I don't even know why. That's not, to me, that's not fandom. That's torture. That's absolute torture.
Well, that might be more of the fandom then, because they're torturing themselves. I bet you that person watches every night.
That's not fandom. That's not fandom to go. If you're watching this team and you're just watching it going, yeah,
they're going to choke.
They're going to choke in October. Yeah, I'm not buying any of it. Well, it's ridiculous.
You can say they're going to choke. He just won't believe it till he sees it,
which I think is fair.
And that's fine. You are more than entitled, and I give you the right to be entitled to that. And I am entitled to think you're nuts.
And LCS against the Diamondbacks, they found a way to beat the Phillies team with the chase rate. The Mets did the same thing last year. Hopefully the Phillies don't have that same issue in the playoffs this year.
The Phillies were decidedly better than the Braves. I mean, in those playoff series. For a week in time, they literally made the Braves look like chumps. But the Braves were clearly the better team. Did that make the Phillies the better team? No. For the week that it happened, the Phillies were the better team and stood up and said, we're going to kick your backside. And they did it. It doesn't just to write off until because it's happened before, it's going to happen again. It's ridiculous to me. And it's not, how about this? It's not how I fan.
Sure.
It's not how I fan. I've never gone into it going.
Allow him to fan the way he wants to fan.
Because it's not, it's the same, but I'm going to use logic. And in logic in baseball is the most individual entity of them all. Weird crap happens in baseball all the time.
Right, but then a logical response to that can be, all right, well, there has been a way to beat the Phillies in the postseason the last 2 years. What if that happens again to start the first round or second round of the series in the playoffs? And if it happens again, then we will once again point to chase rate, guys that weren't coming up clutch.
It could absolutely. You know what could happen too? Look at what the Dodgers have pitched this week. The Dodgers pitching has been lights out this week.
Well, it has been the Rockies, but yes.
No, but exactly, and that is the truth.
But
they have been wild. The Dodgers could have the world champion Dodgers with the arguably best lineup money can buy, and everything like that. They could have a great week of baseball against the Phillies, and they could beat the Phillies. And it doesn't mean that the Phillies sucked or that the Phillies choked or that the Phillies, there it goes. In October, they did it again. It could just mean the Dodgers are better, and they beat the Phillies.
Yeah.
But these people will point to that and go, see, I had every right not to believe in them, which is crazy.
I don't think, look, here's what's crazy. If anybody's saying that the Phillies aren't a good baseball team, that's crazy.
This is the second best team in the league.
Yeah, absolutely.
By 3.5 games, they're behind the best record in baseball.
But I understand concerns as to what has happened in the last couple of years.
A concern is fine. I have a concern that my roof could leak. A concern. You look at it and go, yeah, I don't like in the garage how the water comes in.
Or if your basement needs waterproofing, you call Groundworks.
But I can also then still go, I enjoy my house every day. I love this. That's not someone enjoying things. Okay. That's someone saying, I'll wait till October.
All right, coming up next, we'll reset today's topics, which include, obviously, the good news of Jaylen Carter. We should see the defense look better on Sunday, as long as he's on the field for all 4 quarters. Question is, can they be as dominant as the last time they played the Chiefs? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Schwarber slugs number 50. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies beat the Mets last night behind a 9-run, 13-hit performance, and 3 of those 9 runs came on one of the big milestone swings you'll see in baseball all year. Kyle Schwarber finally got there.
3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50! Kyle Schwarber has just hit his 50th 50th home run of the season.
That audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Schwarber was not the only one with a big night. Ranger Suarez went 6 scoreless innings, allowed only 1 hit, and tallied a career-high 12 strikeouts. It was a great night at the bank. And with Schwarber becoming just the second Phillies player in history to hit 50 homers in the season, the Phils lead is now up to 9 games in the division. Game 3 against the Mets is tonight at 6:45. Christopher Sanchez faces Clay Holmes. Eagles got good news on Jaylen Carter's availability. The NFL decided not to suspend him for Week 2. We'll get our first injury report of the week today ahead of the matchup at KC. Nick Sirianni meets with media at 12:10. We'll talk to Steve Degler of the Iron Pigs at 7:30. Adam Schefter of ESPN at 7:55. This update is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that is built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
We're talking to Tim McManus here of ESPN, and a lot was made, I know, certainly by us and just in talking leading up to the game, some callers, fans we were getting reaction from, about the new offensive coordinator and how it would look. How did you assess, kind of going deeper into that point you just brought up of Hurts and Patullo in the operation, how did you assess the operation from a full game standpoint, given how hot it started and then how stagnant it got a little bit late?
Well, the fact that it started out hot is different. I mean, if we remember back from last year and people pulling their hair out because they couldn't score in the first quarter, that was a storyline that lasted, into November, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was...
We got to do the old
slow start.
Julio
right.
Jones is the last Eagle to have a first quarter touchdown. I remember breaking out that stat every week for about 2 months.
Yeah, and then here they came right out of the gates and they scored some touchdowns. So at least that puts that narrative to bed and shows that Patullo had a game plan that was effective early on, and then things slowed down. It's kind of a weird game to assess because both offenses really started to stall after the delay of game, and nobody could be stopped, before the Lightning came, and then after the Lightning came, nobody could score. So how much of that is Patullo adjustments, etc. There were a couple corner blitzes in succession that I watched where the offense just didn't really seem to have a great answer for. So I don't think it was a perfect game for Patullo. I think there are things to clean up, but I think if you look at it as a whole, the fact that it's his first game calling plays, first game working that operation with Jalen Hurts, and that they got off to that fast start, there's probably more encouraging things than not to build off of.
Speaking of encouraging, Jahad Campbell just absolutely, I thought, acquitted himself more than adequately. Playing alongside a guy like Zach Bond, I think that Vic Fangio, for me, a guy like Vic Fangio that wants to be able to run certain things, he's got 2 guys that are going to be able to run, I think, everything that he would like to run. You gave him car keys to 2 Maseratis, and I think that this is something that I think he's going to get better. He's still going to make those mistakes, and you're going to see that, but I would think that that's a guy that certainly has turned a lot of heads and has given into some of the expectations at this point early on.
An embarrassment of riches at linebacker.
Right?
What
who are we? Who are we?
What is going on? I don't even know who we are anymore. At Campbell, I agree. What a debut. He flashed every day during training camp. It wasn't always perfect. In fact, I think in pass coverage was really sometimes where it got shaky. I remember a couple times that he gave up, whether it was a wheel route against Will Shipley or a touchdown to where he blew an assignment during the joint practices against the Browns, and you're like, okay, the passing game's maybe where he needs some refinement, and then you see that play where he just carries the field with Ferguson and comes up with that PBU, and it's like linebackers really don't do that. So you recognize that you have a special talent, and to your point, Amy, it's paired with another special talent in Zach Bond, who has a similar skill set in that way. That just opens up so many things. While we're talking about the restrictions in the secondary with the questions at safety and CB2 in particular, the flip side of that for Fangio is that if you have 2 linebackers like that, man, how creative can you get? And what different looks can you present an offense that they're not normally presented because they just don't have that ability at the linebacker position. So it's a new day in Philadelphia, I guess.
The Fanatic on this beautiful Wednesday morning, and Adam Schefter Wednesday morning, which means 1 hour from now we will speak to our man Adam Schefter. We have another fun guest later on in the show as well. Around 7:30, Steve Degler, who is the voice of the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Half of the team is up with the Phillies right now after all the injuries, but
he
of
must
course,
feel lonely.
Eventually Walker Buehler could make his way to the Phillies. So we'll speak with Steve coming up at 7:30.
He'll be here Friday, right? Won't he?
Yeah. And
Be here Friday. We'll get a little scouting report on it.
Absolutely.
What about Aiden Miller?
We'll see. He's up.
Never know.
See.
Never know.
Never know. I'll give you one more dominant season because I don't want to steal some from other people. Again, if you're just tuning in, Kyle Schwarber hit number 50 last night. Home run number 50. We have seen two dominant, historic seasons in the span of 1 year. Saquon Barkley, one of few rushers to reach 2,000 yards rushing in the season. Kyle Schwarber, one of only 34 players in the history of Major League Baseball to have hit 50 home runs. This one is very specific to Philadelphia because we have unfortunately not seen enough of them.
What's that?
And he's the last guy to have done it.
What's that?
John LeClaire scoring 51 goals in 97-98. That doesn't sound all that great, but the fact that he's the last one to have done it in Philadelphia history.
50's a lot. Like, that's a ton of goals.
It is a ton of goals, but it's been a long time.
Mishkov will be there.
Yes, one day.
He'll be there. Yeah, he'll be there in the...
I mean, we're talking...
That's amazing.
Almost 30 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Since we have seen it in Philadelphia.
It's coming on like Sixers territory now.
G was more of a facilitator, right? Like...
Wow.
That's actually kind of crazy. The last time a Flyers player scored 50 goals was 1978.
It's actually a little troubling.
And that's why I'll put John LeClaire as one of the names of individual dominant seasons here in Philadelphia, even though that doesn't totally span history of all of the sports, of all of hockey, but here specifically.
Wow.
All right.
That's a little troubling.
Give us another text message. You can text the show at 610-632-0975. Has Sanity Week made you feel better so far about the Phillies, who have taken the first two games over the Mets? Our first text said, I'll wait till October. What do we got now?
We also have people checking in on the big accomplishments. And Lowman checks in and says, don't undersell Embiid's 70 in a game. But comparing it to Schwarber's 50 in a season is different. Probably more appropriate to compare it to Schwarber's 4 home run game. And both of those feats are ridiculous.
Yeah, if anything, you could say that season pre-injury, because he was averaging, like 35 a game. But then, of course, we know what happens. He gets hurt, and that's kind of been a consistent thing.
A little trend.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Little trend. It's a shame.
Real quick, before we open up this Eagles topic, I'll give you another 50-plus home run season.
Okay.
All right, there's been 34 players. This is a great question.
Look at you. You're like cracking yourself up on this one.
Because this is the stuff I love, right? Like, I feel like I'm at the bar. I'm missing my beer right now. Kenley Jensen.
All right.
Max Kepler. And 5 other players are getting paid $10 million this year for this specific season. That is 167th in Major League Baseball for individual salaries for 1 year. This player was the first player to ever make at least $10 million in a season. And he hit 50 home runs even.
He hit 50 home runs even.
Yes. And he was the first player in Major League history to make at least $10 million in a season.
Huh.
And it wasn't all that long ago.
Really? And he was the first one to hit...
to make $10 million in a year. But he hit 50 home runs in 1995.
In 95.
Yep.
Griffey Jr.
No. American League. Well, Griffey Jr. was American League at the time. American League.
Is it going to be a name that you go, wow? Like it's a weird name?
No.
Okay.
You know how dominant this guy was.
Oh, okay.
His career was just not that long.
Never mind. Then I'm not thinking of the right
that I'm
guy.
not thinking of the right one either. I was going to toss out a Brady Anderson, who hit 50.
He did hit 50. No.
And
actually, this guy played 12 years.
On the cover of Men's Fitness.
Not that long a career, played 12 years. Now I don't even know where to go.
Yeah, I don't even know where to go.
10 full seasons.
Wow, I didn't even know where to go.
Albert Bell.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Albert Bell. He
By
was
the
the
way,
first person to get paid think about that, $10 million. It was when he went to Chicago in 97. So we're not even 30 years removed where $10 million was the highest paid contract.
Wow.
And now you have guys making 50 a year.
He was a mean dude.
I know.
Mean dude.
I know.
Yeah, not nice.
Mean
kinda-
to baseballs, too.
But
yes,
think
he
about
was.
that.
He was really mean to them.
$10 million was the highest annual salary.
Wow. In
Just-
95?
97 when he got
97.
paid by the White Sox.
Wow, wow.
All right, so I have a bunch of these for you over the course of the show. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Yesterday, we found out that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended by the National Football League.
And I'm a hypocrite.
We'll see if the Eagles do something. They suspended him for being late to team meetings last year. What happens for spitting on a person? We'll find out. Let's just assume that Jaylen Carter is on the field to start the game. All right? You have a question about whether or not the Eagles can be as dominant against the Chiefs this time around, 7 months removed from the last time they played.
Yeah, I ask and yesterday I even went back and watched one of the short runs of the Super Bowl because as I'm doing my notes, I just got nostalgic.
By the way, that's always a nice thing to do.
Get a little nostalgic and you start looking at it and you say, wow, boy, was that a lot of fun. Truth Serum. So I'm asking you and Connor to start the conversation quickly here. Truth Serum. None of us actually believes the Eagles were 40-6 better than the Chiefs, right?
No.
On that day,
No.
they were.
Yeah, on that day. but
On
no.
that day, but nobody believes.
No.
Because none of us called for the game to be lopsided.
No, nobody did.
None of us called for a lopsided
I think we
Eagles
had like
victory.
2 texters that said.
I didn't say that lopsided, but there was a point where I brought up that week. I'm starting to lean more and more towards it's not close.
What was your call of the game?
I don't remember.
But it
You say
wasn't
40-6.
I didn't
You
say
did not
40.
say.
No,
you
no,
did
no,
not
I
call
didn't say
for. You did not call for a
40-6.
two-score
Like
victory.
a historic beatdown in the Super Bowl.
I don't remember what
No,
I
you
predicted.
didn't. No, but I don't know anybody on our station that called for a two-score victory.
I think Bill might have.
Did he? I don't remember that.
Well, Nick
But
probably
it was
told him
a-
at dinner.
Nick says, but I do believe on that day the Eagles were the far better team.
Yeah.
The better coaching staff with the better plan. And I think that in a game, things start to snowball. And Kansas City showed no poise that day. That was the big thing to me that it showed. Going back and watching it again yesterday, they showed no poise.
The Mahomes interception, not the DeJean
Which one? The one to Bond.
Like he was seeing ghosts.
Well, he also got hit on that one.
Yeah.
And but he was just, and you could see it, he was not feeling it. So, with all offseason to strategize, do you think Andy and Spags have a counter plan up their sleeve that will allow them to bridge that gap? Because we all agree 40-6 was not truly what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the two teams. But I don't know. I don't think it makes up for what I saw. I have very big confidence that the Eagles are clearly the better team in this matchup. And I already saw them win 2 years ago at Arrowhead, where a much inferior overall Eagles team as far as swagger and everything went into Arrowhead and won on a Monday night.
Yeah. So I was going to spend more time on this in the next segment, John.
Okay.
There's a tweet circulating. I'm sure you guys all saw it about how, if the Eagles lose this weekend, it's okay.
What? No, it's not.
And there's a reason why our friends on Unfiltered are, pushing the message that they are pushing. I'll just leave it at that. It was a nonsense tweet from a nonsense person that just seems to always do that to get, you mentioned Nick Wright, EIEIO.
Yeah.
We got that in this area as well.
Well, it is engagement farming.
Yeah,
that's clearly engagement farming.
We have that in this area too, and it's ridiculous to me. I feel really, really good about Sunday. Like, honestly,
Okay, do you feel
it may be chest day every single day. And I know you guys hate that. It might be chest day every day this week.
Put me on the feel good scale that you had going into the Dallas game. Now I realize the Dallas game then had the Jaylen Carter thing.
Right.
Then had the injury on the first play, which sort of just gave it a weird vibe, and then had the weather delay. So I'm sort of tossing that out and say just go.
Yeah.
On the feel good scale, are we talking comparable? Or like as far as confidence that it's going to be a win?
I think so. And,
Not that it's going to be the same.
and I don't think 40-6.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But you do feel good with that.
And here's why. I did not see the Chiefs look all that great in week 1. I get it, Sao Paulo and all that kind of stuff. Andy's teams typically start off slow. Xavier Worthy being hurt, Travis Kelce being another year older, still not really worried about their ground game. Their defense, you saw what the Eagles did to them last year. I don't think it'll be as dominant this time around. I don't think Steve Spagnuolo is going to sell out to stop the run like he did in the Super Bowl. I see these two teams match up, and I just feel so good about the Eagles on Sunday.
The thing is, though, as far as if Steve Spagnuolo won't sell out, Steve Spagnuolo in the biggest game of the year, and they say it in the documentary if you watch the documentary, and then Patrick Mahomes says it on camera. They changed up everything that they do. They didn't dance with what brung them.
Right.
They sold out and said, we're going with a totally different game plan, and we're selling out to stop Saquon. And it ended up screwing them. I mean, it was their worst defensive performance of the year against the Eagles. If he thought that was the best plan to beat the Eagles, why wouldn't he try to fine-tune it and do it again?
Well, then maybe
or does he just admit, man, on the biggest stage, I had a crap.
I would imagine he admits. But if he does, then okay.
Because he's a stand-up guy from everything I know.
Right.
He's a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
I don't know him.
I've had the pleasure to.
But I hear he's
when I
a
used to work
very.
with Ant, I talk to him often.
But I hear
he's
he's
a
a
great man.
stand-up guy, though, in NFL circles. People say he's a
very respected
yes,
defensive coordinator
very
in the
respected.
NFL. Dude, I feel really good. I'll talk more about it coming up next.
So you're feeling really good.
Yeah. Am I going to expect 40-6?
No.
No. But do I feel really, really good about the Eagles on Sunday? I do. And I'm not afraid to get a little chesty about it. Maybe the Phillies are making me feel better. I don't know. So I'll give you more reasonings coming up next. We'll check more on the text messages. Celebrate Kyle Schwarber in his 50th home run of the season last night. It is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans. Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bowe, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
On Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. John's asking the question of whether or not the Eagles can be as dominant. Well, obviously not as dominant, but can they have a dominant performance against the Chiefs again this Sunday like they did in February 7 months ago? And, John, I feel really, really good. I wanted to save it for the show. We never do the show before the show. I can't. Here's a couple of reasons why. All right? Again, it's Patrick Mahomes. And that guy will always strike fear in me, right? If it's a close game, he could find a way to win. The objective is to not allow it to be close. And I think with Jaylen Carter back on the field, hopefully, we're having the conversation as if he will be on the field for all 4 quarters. The defense will not look the way that it did last week. We saw what they did with the halftime adjustment, keeping the Cowboys to 0 points in the second half. Do I believe the delay had something to do with it? I absolutely do. I've been saying that since Friday morning, because they played last Thursday. But that's besides the point. I think the defense with Jaylen Carter will be that much better. I think the edge rushers with Jaylen Carter will be that much better, which then means Adoree Jackson doesn't have to cover somebody for as long. And, oh, by the way, who is he covering that plays at the level of CeeDee Lamb? Nobody. Do I believe
and
that...
by the way, we're a little bit lucky there. We've gotten a little bit lucky.
Sure.
There.
Do I believe that A.J. Brown will not get his first target until the fourth quarter? No, I do not believe that to be the case. And if I'm Kevin Patullo, first play... Maybe I'm handing the ball off because I think everybody's going to expect it to go to A.J. Brown. But the second play, sure as hell, you're designing a play for A.J. Brown to get the ball or Devontae Smith because he also has to get going. I just don't see a way right now, other than games close Patrick Mahomes magic, where the Eagles lose this game. Like, I feel extreme. Sometimes it scares me how confident I am, but it goes back to what we've been saying about the Eagles before the season started. Buy into the dominance. Enjoy the dominance. Don't ignore the dominance of what this Eagles team can be.
That's what I'm looking at it. And then if they beat Kansas City, so you're feeling good on it too, Connor?
Yeah, not as good as Andrew is, but I'm feeling good on it.
Because then they'd have the 2-0, and then you got the games coming up against the Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right.
You get a good start to the season. You get that maybe 3-1, 4-0. You're feeling great.
And look, Monday, watching them play on Friday is part of it, right? Like they didn't look all that great. Justin Herbert had one of the best days of his career.
No.
And I know the offense got going in the second half for the Chiefs. I do. But, man, I'm just with Jaylen Carter on the field Sunday, as long as he's not spitting on anybody, like it won't be as dominant of a defensive performance, but I think they can handle Patrick Mahomes.
They should be able to. I mean, there's nothing looked scary about the Chiefs the other night.
No.
Except Patrick Mahomes can still.
And that's why if it's a close game, sure, I'll be like, uh-oh.
He's a magician.
But I'll let it be close.
I'll fight you on the idea that you're feeling as good about this game as you did about the Cowboys. Like, I don't know how that can be a thing. The quality of the Cowboys team is nowhere close to the quality of the Chiefs team just because of, like, Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Here's why first off, I felt overly good about the game against the Cowboys to the point where we were barely even talking about them. We were just excited for banner night. But I did point out, hey, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, I took Dak's overs. Didn't hit, obviously.
I did
CD's overs.
I did too.
Receiving yards did hit. Like, there were a lot of over bets that I was making for the Dallas Cowboys offense because I expect them to have a pretty good day against week 1 of the new secondary with Adoree Jackson and what we thought would be Sidney Brown. It ended up being Drew Makuba. Who's that weapon that's scaring you? Juju Smith-Schuster? For the 18,000th time?
Mr. Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I mean, it's just very hard to look at Mahomes and Andy Reid the same way I look at Dak Prescott and Schottenheimer. Like, I think just alone, that's a tougher matchup because of those guys. And you're also on the road. which we'll see how a young defense again, who we saw not all that tight in week 1, does going on the road to
And we'll see how
Arrowhead.
Kevin Patullo is getting calls in, because it's not Lincoln Financial Field where the fans are supposed to be quiet. It's going to be a raucous atmosphere in one of the louder stadiums in the NFL. Look, I get it. Like, all these things are true. But when I'm going, again, this is all matchup versus matchup, paper versus paper. On paper, I feel very comfortable about the Eagles game on Sunday. Very comfortable.
I feel very comfortable.
I'm expecting a damn party.
Not that much, though. I have a feeling fourth quarter I'm chewing nails.
Yeah, I think so as well. I don't see
think I'm
this as a Mahomes doesn't have his chance type of game.
Okay.
We'll see how it shakes out.
We'll
though.
talk about
Feel
it.
good about it, though.
All right, Kyle Schwarber hit number 50 yesterday. Let's get a text message, and then I'm going to give you another trivia question. You can text the show at 610-632-0975. Where's the dominant season of Kyle Schwarber and Saquon Barkley that we've seen in 1 year, in a calendar year from last September, rank among other dominant seasons? And do you feel better about the Phillies? Has Sanity Week benefited you? Because it's benefited me. What do we got?
Oh, we got someone checking in, just like the Micah Parsons thing from earlier this year. This texter says, at least you guys admit you are hypocrites with the Jaylen Carter thing. If it was a Chiefs player, you would be screaming that they missed the game.
Oh, no. No, I would not.
I would be.
No, I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't. I'm just saying it's the whole idea of that I would not be calling for anybody to be suspended. Because I don't do that the bad injury thing or the bad, because I'm always thinking it comes back and bites you.
Now, to the texter's point or statement or whatever, I'm not even thinking about the Chiefs. I'm thinking, like, in terms of what if something happened with the Chiefs. I'm thinking about if my own son did something like this, I would have punished my son. He would have been in timeout. He would have probably not gotten TV the rest of the day, right? So if I look at Jaylen Carter as my son spitting on somebody, you should be punished. But here's the deal. He's not my kid. I'm not the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I would like to start the season 2-0.
I think that's fantastic. I like your attitude.
All right, I'm going to give you another one. Here you go. This guy hit 57 home runs. In the same season, he hit a bloop single to win the World Series.
Oh, Luis Gonzalez.
Correct.
That's a good one.
That's a great answer.
2001 World Series, I guess,
Yep,
right?
2001 World Series. He hit 57 home runs that year and hit the bloop to center field, which won the Diamondbacks the World Series in 2001 over the Yankees. I have a bunch of these for you that I will continue to give you throughout the course of the show. You're the first person to get it right without extra hints, right?
I think so.
I think so.
The Poppy, I had to give a couple extra.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right, so
warming up.
you're winning.
Oh, great.
You got it. That was
Connor's
a good
winning.
one.
Connie Seam heads over there. All right, coming up next. Do the Phillies have another horse in the race for a starter or a bullpen arm for Red October that's currently pitching in AAA for now? We get insight on that next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A milestone night. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies beat the Mets last night behind a 9-run, 13-hit performance by the offense. Ranger Suarez was awesome, and Suarez had a milestone night. 6 scoreless innings, allowed only 1 hit, 12 strikeouts, which is the highest mark of his career. But it wasn't the only one, and it certainly wasn't the biggest one.
3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50! Kyle Schwarber has just hit his 50th home run of the season.
That audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Yes, Schwarber slugged his 50th. He becomes just the second player in Phillies history to do so in a single season. The Phils lead in the division is now up to 9 games. Game 3 is tonight at 6:45. Christopher Sanchez faces Clay Holmes as the Phils look to take 3 straight from the Mets. Eagles got good news on Jaylen Carter's availability yesterday. The NFL decided not to suspend him for Week 2. We'll get our first injury report of the week today ahead of the matchup with KC, and Nick Sirianni meets with media at 12:10. We're going to talk to Steve Degler of the Iron Pigs coming up next segment. Adam Schefter of ESPN joins us at 7:55. This update's brought to you by Aleve. Traffic and body pain can slow you down, but don't let the pain stop you. With just one pill, Aleve provides up to 12 hours of pain relief so you can keep moving. Use as directed. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia Sports.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Keller.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Keller.
Every weekday at 2.
The Fanatic on this Adam Schefter Wednesday. Schefty joins us in 30 minutes. We'll get more info on the decision by the NFL to not suspend Jaylen Carter for an extra game. I wonder if it was closer to him being suspended. I wonder, John, as you and I have talked about a couple times this week, did Lamar Jackson's actions on Sunday have anything to do with Jaylen Carter not being suspended, or is it exactly what's being reported? He basically missed an entire game, but 6 seconds in game one. That is what they're going to call the suspension. Or, as you and I were talking before the show.
It wasn't a suspension, though, and that's what's really weird to me. So if a guy gets hurt, if a guy spits in the second quarter, what do you do?
Right, so we can ask. We can ask
you know
these
what I mean?
questions. Shefty will be joining us in 30 minutes.
No discipline. He got ejected from a game, which is different than being suspended from a game. I got to tell you, I think the Eagles dodged a major bullet.
Yeah, I think so too. And so we'll talk to Shefty about it.
And I'm glad they did. So this is where I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Complete hypocrite.
All right. Give us another text message on whether or not the Phillies and the sanity of the city has gotten better after these two games. And then we're going to speak to our next guest here in a few minutes to talk about Walker Buehler, who could be should be making his debut at the end of this week. What do we got on the text line, Connor?
So Mark from Hatboro checks in. We have a lot of people chiming in on the idea of the history of the Phillies in the postseason recently and whether or not that's affecting people.
Okay, because we had a guy texting earlier, I'll see it in October.
See it in October.
And John took exception to it.
I am.
What do we got?
So Mark says, John, the history will tell you that we do not do well in the postseason over the lifespan of the Philadelphia Phillies. Until that changes, like the Eagles, we cannot expect them to just flip the switch and turn it on in October. So that's why people are worried.
Did they flip the switch in October and do well in 2022?
They did.
Okay. Did they flip the switch and do well in October in 2023?
I think they were pretty good rolling into October in 23, but
I don't remember it that.
Yeah,
I don't remember. They still were a heavy underdog against the Braves and went on out and won it.
Braves won 100
So I'm just saying, exactly, they went out and won a series. So again, So 2022 and 2023, all this flip the switch stuff, they were 4-8 down the stretch in 2022, went to the World Series as the last seed sneaking in to go to the playoffs, went to Game 6 of the World Series. This flip the switch stuff, we've seen it, and we've seen it with probably 2/3 of this roster on that team.
Just got to hope that a guy like Bryce Harper, flips the switch again.
Yes.
And,
If your big key guys come through at the big times,
right,
that's where it carries you. And look at what Harper did. And when Harper comes through in the biggest spots, this team tends to ride on his back.
Oh, absolutely. All right, what else we got?
We also have a check-in where a texter agrees with John. This texter says, John is right. Baseball is a sport where anyone who makes the postseason can win. To not enjoy this beatdown of the Mets is a joke. We have a chance to knock them out of the playoffs as well.
I hope the guy earlier that said, I'll see it, wake me up in October. I hope he didn't say wake me up in October.
Does he sound like he's enjoying it?
I hope he enjoyed it. Look, I hate the Mets. Now, look, this is, again, I've said this numerous times. I hate the Mets more than the Cowboys, more than the Giants, more than the Celtics, more than the Penguins, any other
team. So the
team.
Mets are number one for you on the hate list.
Yeah, so when the Phillies get swept by the Mets, there's a little bit more reason why I got so upset, because I freaking hate them. Brandon Nimmo warming up with the damn sledgehammer in the on-deck circle, loser. The Phillies taking the first 2 games of this series against this team, and again, against the team that knocked you out of the playoffs last year, a team that seems to have had your number this year. You being able to win 1-0 and shutting them out in Game 1 behind the arm of Aaron Nola, and then, of course, what you saw last night with the beatdown by the Phillies offensively and the Kyle Schwarber home run, it makes me warm up a little bit more.
And here's where the difference is, and I think it's very, very good. And Maddie sends along an email. Congratulations, Maddie. Maddie just became a dad last week.
Oh, congratulations,
for the
Maddie.
first time. And Maddie says, John, I think where the disconnect is between you and the guys is the fact that when Andrew says sanity week, for his sanity, he needed to see the last 2 nights.
Yes.
You consider the people insane that were doubting this Phillies team, because there were tons along your timeline, as I live on it too,
sure,
that were telling you the division race was over, this team was done, and this thing was finished. So you see the insanity in all the people that were off the bandwagon,
right?
Which is what I do. And I'm just looking at it as, so for me, sanity is, I think these people were insane. That the Metsy, and by the way, I didn't do much when I was on vacation, but I said every time, I said, okay, just to go on the record here, I'm not in the least bit concerned about the division. I'm not the least bit concerned about the Phillies getting this thing turned around. This is a bad week.
Yeah.
And that's all it turned out to be. It was a bad week.
And the Phillies are making everybody feel a little bit better.
Hopefully.
All right. Hey, let's go to the Comcast Business Hotline now. We're every day in business, big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. The voice of the Iron Pigs on the TV broadcasts. I always love his work, because every once in a while I do actually like to check it out, because I do have that local channel. I still remember one day randomly watching Dominic Brown pitch against the Phillies, against the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, because that channel was available for me. His name is Steve Degler, and he's going to join us now here on Kincade Salciunas. Steve, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
We're doing great. It's been a fun 2 games for the Major League Club, where you guys have loaned like half the roster because of all the injuries. So we appreciate Otto Kemp having the big home run yesterday. But one of the big stories right now for you and the fans of the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs is you're getting the chance to see Walker Buehler, who could potentially make a case to be a starter or a bullpen arm for the Phillies. What have you seen so far in Buehler down with Lehigh, and what do you expect once he makes it with the big league club?
Well, he made 1 start so far for the Pigs, and that was just this past Saturday against Toledo, and it was his first appearance in almost 2 weeks. He had last thrown in relief for the Red Sox on August 24th, and I looked earlier in the year, he was topping out about 96, 97 with his 4-seam fastball, so his velo was down a little bit on Saturday, but I think that's to be expected with the layoff. He was sitting more 93, but he threw 7 different pitches. And the numbers on the surface don't look great. He only went 3 innings. He threw 78 pitches in those 3 innings, 47 for strikes. But there was an error with 2 outs in the second inning that not only cost him an unearned run, but he had to throw 17 extra pitches just to get out of that inning. So without that error, he's probably going 4, maybe even 5. I thought he looked pretty good considering the situation he was in, having been inactive for a long time. The velocity will hopefully come back. He's been through a lot, as we know, with the elbow, and he's got that World Series experience, which is something you really can't account for guys who've never been there. So I think it's a low-risk thing for the Phillies, and he'll give them a chance to give a breather to the rotation here for the last couple of weeks. I like the signing. I really do. There's not a whole lot to lose when you sign a guy like Walker Buehler.
Let's just I want to ask you about somebody that we're all obsessed with, and it's Justin Crawford. Is one of those names that everybody wants to hear more about. And we look at guys and some of the big names in the organization. When you look at the tree of talent that the Phillies have down below, can you tell us a little bit about what you think about that tree and Justin Crawford?
I love the guy. It's been so much fun to watch him all season long. Unfortunately, he's on the injured list right now because Otto Kemp, of all people, took him out last week in a collision, some dental damage and a concussion
Two teeth missing, we heard last night on the broadcast?
Yeah, they were looking for them during the rain delay later that night. I don't know if they found him or not, but yeah, he took a heavy hit. He took a shoulder right to the jaw, but he has been impressive since day one. And I know there's been a lot of talk about ground balls and power. He's only 21. Power is the last thing to come. He's hit some more home runs since the All-Star break. He just gets on base and he creates havoc. Now, I don't know if he's going to come back in the regular season. I don't know what the medical situation is, but he has a chance to set 4 single-season records for the Iron Pigs if he comes back in time. Now, he's going to get the batting one. He's going to shatter the highest batting average in the season, but he's got a chance for runs scored, hits, and stolen bases as well for the franchise. I mean, he just simply battles up there in every at-bat, fights off pitches, finds a way to get on, and then just creates chaos. He has been great to watch at the top of the order as a table setter for the Iron Pigs.
I know it's only been one game, and I know it didn't get a hit in it, but Aiden Miller now with AAA Lehigh. What have you made of the young man that you've been able to talk to for a brief period of time, and what do you think his future holds with the Phillies?
Yeah, I haven't seen much of him. I saw him a little bit in Reading earlier in the year when he was really struggling offensively. It looked like he was maybe trying to do too much early in the season and pressing a little bit, and he really settled in. And for reference, he was hitting only .217 after the game on July 26th. And, man, did he catch fire. He got his average in Reading up to .259 before he was promoted, and that's because he hit .348 in August. He stole 52 bases. He was the first Reading player to steal 50 in a season, I believe in almost 40 years. So everybody talked about the power and the arm for this guy, and could he stay at shortstop because he's a big guy? The speed has really come out of nowhere. He goes to Scranton Wilkes-Barre last night. He walks 3 times, and every time he steals second base. So in his AAA debut, he had 3 stolen bases. There were some error issues in Reading. He had 20 or so, but there were a guy named Jeter once made over 50 errors in a season. I'm not comparing the two, but just for perspective, some things like that happen. So I'm excited to see him when they come back home next week. He just turned 21 in June. Most have him ranked as number 2, number 3 prospect in the Phillies organization, top 100 in baseball. Bright future. Whether he stays at shortstop or not, when you have a bat and speed that plays like that, they'll find a spot for him.
We're all looking forward to Andrew Painter at some point, too, but eyeballs review of Andrew Painter, of what you saw?
Well, I think the first thing for me is that he stayed healthy. I mean, it's an unusual situation. You're talking about a young guy who missed 2 entire years of development, and that's difficult. And on top of that, he had never pitched above AA, and that was just a 5-game sample 3 years ago, late in 2022. So, yeah, there have been some struggles this year when you look at the numbers. He's had a tough time putting some guys away. He's had a tough time commanding the fastball, and he's had some issues with a big inning. But when you look at the big picture, you like what you see. The velocity's there. I mean, he's going to throw 97, 98. He's going to come after you with that fastball. His curveball is absolutely ridiculous. When that thing is on, he could tell you it's coming, and you're still not going to hit it. So I think he's just refining things. Command is often the last thing that comes back after Tommy John surgery, and when you have the longer layoff that he did when it's 2 full seasons, I'm not too terribly concerned. I think it's great that he's been able to get through the year and get to 100 innings and take his regular turn. I think next year, when he's got that rust completely knocked off, is going to be a huge year for him.
Steve Degler, the voice of the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Great job, great insight. Thanks for coming
Steve.
on, and thanks again for loaning some of the players up with the big league club in yesterday's game. We appreciate the time today.
That's what we're here for, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Anytime.
Absolutely. There's Steve Degler on the Comcast Business Hotline.
I hope Steve has to learn a lot of new players next year.
Yes, yeah. So that a lot of these players in AAA are up with the big league
The fact
club.
that Crawford never got a cup of coffee up here
Still
this year
weird.
is a crime. No,
Still
it's
weird.
It's a freaking crime.
Yeah.
He had one of the greatest seasons of minor league baseball that an outfielder has ever had. And he never got an opportunity at the major league
maybe
level.
AAA Lehigh will win the AAA crown. Who knows?
2 rings this year.
All right, coming up next, I want to bring up something that I mentioned to you guys yesterday. I saw a member of the Phillies do something last night that we have not seen much of, if at all, this year. And you know what? Maybe that's a good thing. That it's starting to come back. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Attention, Delaware Valley. 97.5 The Fanatics Unfiltered with
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
We talked about it for a couple of seconds, but I want to actually take some more time here. I saw something happen yesterday after the Phillies won that I don't think we can count on two hands that's happened this year. I don't even know if all 5 fingers would go up. I saw Bryson Stott dump the bucket on Schwarber, celebrating the 50th home run yesterday after the game.
It's happened probably, I would say, 4 times in the past month.
Okay. I heard Brandon Marsh over the weekend talk about his time in AAA this year following what I believe was the phantom injury because he needed to get his you-know-what together because it was a really bad start to the season for Brandon Marsh, and he credited Garrett Stubbs, who is now back up with the big league club. Harrison Bader clearly seems to be a guy that has fun and keeps it light. I did not need the daycare anymore.
No.
Especially because they're 30.
Yeah, but considering the Phillies don't like to, really bring up young players.
That's a good point. 30 is young on this baseball
Daycare for the Phillies
team.
is different.
But I do believe that Bryce Harper maybe went a little too far putting the kibosh on the no fun zone. And we have seen a team that recently has kept it a little bit more light. And I wonder if part of that is in response to the platooning that I think is angering at least one of your players, because we know that Nick Castellanos does not want to be a platoon. We know that Harrison Bader at one point was upset with his at-bats.
He said, I want to play. I came here to play.
Max Kepler, even though he was batting .05.
I think it was 207.
Yeah, it was 207. But a guy that was complaining about his playing time. It did. It was really bad. But I've seen a team all of a sudden recently start to have fun again. And look, they're a good baseball team. Nobody can deny that. The people that do say they stink, that's just over-the-top nonsense, right? Are there flaws with this baseball team? Absolutely. But I wonder if the over-the-top, no, we don't do that around here, which is exactly what Bryce Harper did to Edmundo Sosa for showing a bit of emotion when he got upset with a strike 3 a couple of weeks ago. I wonder if that was a bit too much.
I think what you've seen is that maybe some guys in the locker room are like, Harper doesn't speak for us all.
Maybe.
And we're going to do what we're comfortable with. Sort of like the whole Castellanos with the commissioner thing. Yeah, I would like to have had a conversation with the commissioner.
Sure.
I think there are guys that are like, yeah, we can speak for ourselves.
And look, this is not me attacking Harper. I'm just saying, he was the guy that at the beginning of the season was like, hey, we're not doing this anymore.
By the way, I applaud Harper
for what he
did.
Right.
I applaud him for what he did because I think it was a clown show too much of the kids. Not enough of the kids. Let's step up and be professionals and get after our business.
Right.
And but it's okay to also find the balance of fun.
Yeah. It's a long season.
It was every night was nonsense.
Right.
Every single night. Here come the seeds. Here come the water. It doesn't need to be every night.
But it's a long season. There are a ton of expectations on this team. I don't think it's rocket science when I come back from spring training and get the sense that it's the last year of this core. That pressure's on them, that they have to do it this year. And even though, despite their great record, you could tell at times this team was down. I don't know, maybe a little bit of life. And look, that's why, we've had the conversation about the seasoning and all that kind of stuff. Like, trying to have guys that are playing baseball for fun and all that kind of stuff and not just like country club, we come in here, this is our job. There is something to having personality. And it was something that I think they were lacking, and maybe too much they were lacking.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I think there's a lot of that.
I agree with you.
It helps. Look, it helps when when one of us is in sort of a clowny, loose mood, it sometimes helps all of us.
Absolutely.
To be in a clowny, loose mood.
And when I come in miserable every single day, it brings you guys down every single day.
That is a problem.
I'll tell you what, I'd rather them have this trajectory of the season where you start a little too tight and then you work your way back to where you need to be, than you tighten up as the season goes on. And the next thing you know, everyone's playing like everything's on the line here in the first week of September.
Yeah, they're loosening up now.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Like last year, they just, it seems as if after London, they puttered.
Yeah.
They puttered out.
Absolutely.
Their emotion sort of went, eh.
By the
That's
way,
where that whole Mets thing started.
The guy that does the soccer slide is the one that's trying to tell people to stop having fun.
Well, because if he wants to do it, if he wants to pander, if he wants to be the show off, it's okay. That's sort of a problem. That's sort of a problem. And I think that's probably what the backlash is.
Maybe. Him saying to Edmundo Sosa, we don't do that around here.
Really?
I took exception to that.
Really? When I wear my Fanatic cleats or my Eagles cleats or my
We love you, Bryce.
When I'm a Cowboys fan?
Oh,
yeah.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, he's a Cowboys fan. That's
All
fine.
right.
I don't need you an Eagles cleat.
Coming up next.
But Tyrese owns it that he's a Cowboys fan.
Coming up next, it's a Wednesday. From ESPN, our man Adam Schefter. How close was Jaylen Carter to being suspended, and did Lamar Jackson help? We find that out next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Schwarber makes history. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies took down the Mets easily last night. 9 runs, 13 hits. It was a great performance by the offense. Ranger Suarez a great start. He went 6 scoreless innings, allowing just 1 hit, tallying a career-high 12 strikeouts. But that was not the only milestone. We got history last night, courtesy of Kyle Schwarber.
3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50. Kyle Schwarber has just hit his 50th home run of the season.
That audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Schwarber becomes just the second player in Phillies history to hit 50 home runs in a season, joining Ryan Howard. The Phils lead in the division is now 9 games. Game 3 is tonight at 6:45. Christopher Sanchez versus Clay Holmes. Eagles got some good news on Jaylen Carter yesterday. The NFL decided not to suspend him for Week 2. We'll get our first injury report of the week today ahead of the matchup at Kansas City. Nick Sirianni meets with media coming up at 12:10. Coming up next, Adam Schefter of ESPN will join us for the latest on what's going on with the Birds and around the NFL. This update is brought to you by Groundworks, your trained and certified experts for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We will be joined momentarily by our man Adam Schefter of ESPN. He got the good news yesterday that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended by the league for Sunday's game against the Kansas City Chiefs. The question will be whether or not the Eagles do something. Nick Sirianni obviously keeping that in-house. He says that over and over again in his press conferences.
I appreciate that, by the way.
No, I do too.
You do too, right?
I took exception to the post-game Thursday night answer when he would not, say anything. You can't spit on a human being.
No, he should have absolutely spoken out about that. I don't know what tape you have to review. I don't know what you have to do about that.
Don't give me, I want my guys to be aggressive within the rules of the game. That's not even football. Spitting on another human being is
By the way, there's no way that Nick Sirianni didn't see at halftime what happened.
Right, absolutely.
There's no way that he had not seen that.
By the way,
and he did see that Jaylen Carter was the only Eagle on the other side of the football where he didn't belong.
Right.
It would have been very easy to say, don't spit on another human being. Let's get that out of the way. I'm a father. I have young kids. Let's not have antisocial behavior like that.
Well, let's see what happens on Sunday if the Eagles do make a decision. As you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. And joining us now on the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business get you ready for what's next. He joins us each and every week at this time. We always love our conversations from ESPN. How about not just one of our favorites, but our favorite, Johnny? From ESPN, Adam Schefter joins us. Schefter, you've been raised to number one.
To our favorite. We voted.
On the power rankings. You're our favorite now.
Oh, Andrew, John, what did I do to deserve that honor?
Well, we had to do the power rankings after last week because it was a little awkward.
Right.
So Andrew's wording was a little awkward, and we got to it, and we said, look, he's our favorite.
You're now number one, all right?
So you're number one in the power rankings.
Congratulations. I know that means a lot for you.
Nagandi be damned.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he went to our alma mater and we all went to the same school, we're going with a Michigan guy.
There you go.
I
appreciate the honor and
I'm
distinction.
sure you're honored. Yep. All right, so Schefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making. For anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It suspends him, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship/spitting/conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
You brought up a point, though, on one of your follow-up tweets yesterday about the situation, about his agent and dealing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Could you clarify what that could potentially be concerning?
Yeah, the Eagles could have decided to go after some of the money in Jaylen Carter's contract. There were clauses that were set up, forfeiture clauses, things that made them able to pursue signing bonus payment forfeiture. And again, in their conversations with the league and each other and the PA, the Eagles and Jaylen's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, worked out an agreement that says the team will not use the suspension to void any of the guaranteed money in his contract.
So they're already looking at the upcoming contract negotiations, making sure that
which
that goes
will
well.
be a big one. We're joined by Adam Schefter here on Kincade and Salciunas. Now, Schefty, is there still a chance that the Eagles could do something this upcoming Sunday? Last year, he missed an entire quarter, was benched an entire quarter for missing meetings, being late to meetings, I should say. Is there still any chance that the Eagles say, hey, if that was worthy of one quarter being off, this might be as well, or are we all done?
I would guess we're done. Like, the team was fighting for him not to be suspended. So, to me, it would be unusual for the team to go to bat on his behalf to avoid suspension and then say, okay, we're going to sit you for a quarter. Again, the NFL, the league itself, determined that the punishment was retroactive to last week. So, to me, I would think the team would stand by that, and I'm sure, obviously, the team has had conversations with Jaylen about how that type of behavior is unacceptable.
Now, the Eagles get ready for the Super Bowl rematch as it's all being, put out this week, that it's the Eagles and the Chiefs again. Now, we were talking this morning. We don't believe that it was 40-6 when the starters went out. We don't believe the two teams were that lopsided in talent against each other. But the beatdown on that day was very visible. To see Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes get taken out like that, what do you think they've got cooking for Sunday? And Steve Spagnuolo.
I think that it's going to be a tough challenge because, look, the Chiefs lost their first game, and they're 0-1. So they're the only team in that division, amazingly enough, after 1 week, that didn't win a game. I mean, it would be something if the Chiefs fell 0-2. 0-2. That I don't. There's no way that they've ever started 0-2 under Mahomes. No way. So that to me is one of the biggest challenges that the Eagles face. Is you know you're getting their A game this Sunday. Home opener for them, 0-1. Like you're gonna get their best game on Sunday.
Schefter, Zadarius Smith signs with the Eagles. Then they make the trade for Tank Bigsby. Was this something that you believe has been in the works for a while, or was this something to do with Week 1?
Both were in the works for a while. Zadarius Smith they've been talking to for quite some time. I think that they were moving towards the deal, didn't get it done in time for the opener, and obviously then got it done shortly thereafter the next day. Tank Bigsby, the conversations with the Jaguars dated back to this summer. Initially, Tank Bigsby was supposed to be a part of that deal with Fred Johnson, the offensive tackle.
Interesting.
And there were some discussions, and Jacksonville, at the end, pulled him back from the trade, and they had agreed to two separate packages. One that was a solo Fred Johnson trade, another that was a Fred Johnson and Tank Bigsby trade together. In the end, ultimately at that time, Jacksonville decided it only wanted to part ways with Fred Johnson, but obviously the Eagles remained interested in Tank Bigsby, went back to the well, and finally were able to pry him loose for a 5 and a 6.
It was interesting yesterday to hear Kevin Patullo say in the press briefing that he had with the Philadelphia media that they didn't script the first 15 plays. Because always you hear that around the NFL. Is that something that's completely uncommon, or because it sounds uncommon to us?
I don't know how the practice schedule works there, John. Like whether you script it or not, whether you're rehearsing, working on plays that you're going to run at the beginning. Everybody's different. It feels like to me more teams than not script plays the first 15 plays just because they practice them and they go through them and it's like that. But I'm sure everybody's different.
Adam Schefter joining us here on the Comcast Business Hotline. So the Eagles now getting set for the Chiefs. As John has mentioned, a lot of people are talking about it as a Super Bowl rematch. Do players feel that way? Is that do they actually feel that way? John and I were talking about this yesterday off air. If you do win, do you really get that much revenge in a Week 2 game compared to the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, look, I think everybody in life looks for little motivations, right? Little chips on the shoulder. So if that gives you one, if you feel like that works, then you do that. And I'm sure there are people in Kansas City who remember that, who are using that as a little bit of motivation on Sunday. It makes it even that much tougher. Just one more factor that the Chiefs have to overcome when they play in Philadelphia on Sunday. It makes the matchup that much tougher. I think it's a real thing. It's not going to, decide the game. But, I guarantee you that this is the team that kicked our in the Super Bowl. Absolutely, that's going to be going on Sunday.
Did you, when you saw the Giants and you saw the Cowboys on Thursday night and you saw the Commanders on Sunday afternoon, you see the NFC East exactly as you sort of saw it in the summer?
No, I thought that the Giants, one game, I thought the Giants would have a better showing. I thought the Commanders, last year was such a magical year. I thought they would take a step back. I thought Dallas would be a tough out, but they were probably even a little bit better and tougher than I thought they were. So I think I was a little off on everybody. A little off on Washington, a little off on the Giants, a little off on the Cowboys.
And Week 1. Who knows what it's going to shake out this week.
1 week.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Schefter, lastly, what's the status for Xavier Worthy for Sunday's game? I don't know how you play with a brace when you have that kind of an injury to your shoulder, but I'm not calling myself as tough as an NFL player. Andy Reid saying it's day to day. Do you believe Xavier Worthy will be playing Sunday against the Eagles?
My guess would be no. And if he does play, he'll play with a harness. And I don't know how effective he'll be with a harness when you're a little guy and a fast. I don't know those things. I've never played a football game with a harness on. So, look, he's not going to be full strength if he plays. That's the one factor that we know. They don't have Rashee Rice. So they're certainly a little shorthanded at wide receiver. And when you watch the Chiefs on Friday, and maybe it was just a function of it being week 1 in Brazil against a tough Chargers defense. Like, maybe all those things all factored in. But they just looked a little they looked a little sluggish to me. They didn't look as explosive as you expect a Chiefs offense to be. Now, saying that, they can go out on Sunday and light up the scoreboard with 30 or 40 points. By the way, I hear my voice in the background. What's going on with that today?
I don't know what's
like
happening.
Mixed minus.
I don't know what happened.
Oh,
it's
very weird.
I don't hear
little echo.
I don't hear anything. To be honest,
We just heard great insights.
I hear
We just heard great insights.
That's all we heard, Schefter.
That's all we got.
And that's why you're number 1 on the power rankings.
See, there you go.
Shefty.
Because you fight through the conditions, and you keep talking even though you hear your voice in your ear the entire time.
It was amazing.
You're as tough as Xavier Worthy if he would play on Sunday.
See, there it is. You did great job.
But that's a broadcasting harness, having mixed minus right there.
Exactly.
No issue for me. But it might be for Xavier Worthy on Sunday. Yes.
Shefty, we appreciate the time, man. We'll try to get this phone line cleared up one day, and we'll talk to you again.
We'll see you. Take care, Shefty.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a great week.
There's Adam Schefter from ESPN on the Comcast Business Hotline.
So if you listen to Kincade and Salciunas, we gave you the exact same information that Adam gave you on the trade.
Not we, you.
No, I mean, well, the information that we received, that we shared on our show, was exactly correct. It had nothing to do with the injury to
Will Shipley.
It was a trade that was in the works even from August.
I didn't know about the trade. It could have been a Fred Johnson and Tank
No, we didn't
Bigsby
talk about
trade.
that, though.
Yeah.
They've been stalking him since August. It could have gone down then. So
Johnny Journalist
that was
over
great.
there.
Well, Johnny phone call.
All right, coming up next.
Johnny phone calls all
We
one.
have today's headlines with Connor Thomas. I'll also give you another 50 home run season trivia question here on Kincade and Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic.
The summer's here, and you know what that
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We have today's headlines with Connor Thomas here in a minute, but I want to play it another time for you because we're celebrating. As much as we are talking about the Eagles today and Sanity Week for the Phillies and whether or not you're feeling better after these two games in terms of your sanity, because I am, I also want to celebrate Kyle Schwarber hitting home run number 50, just the 34th player in Major League Baseball history to do it. Here's how it sounded yesterday on NBC Sports Philadelphia.
3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50! Kyle Schwarber has just hit his 50th home run of the season. He's the second Philly to do it. And they now lead it 7-1.
That, of course, the voice of Tom McCarthy. Now, real quick, before we get to headlines, I want to give you another 50-plus home run season trivia question. Because I have a bunch of these. Because there have been 34 players to do it. Who is the...
Why is it making you laugh?
The former Philly that, like, 20 years from now, we're going to go, oh, yeah, that's right, he did play for the Phillies. To hit 50 home runs. He did not do it with the Phillies, of course. I know
The former Philly.
It happened in 2010, and we will 100% 20 years from now be like, oh, my God, I forgot that he played for the Phillies.
He played for Toronto, didn't he?
Yes.
Oh, Jose Bautista.
Yes.
There you go.
I give credit to John for that one. You guys are tied 1-1.
Why? You just named the team?
No, I mean, I knew who it was.
You got chemo brain.
Point.
Come on, man.
That's chemo brain.
That's chemo brain.
That's chemo
we'll
brain.
Split the point. It's 1-1.
No, good pull.
It's 1-1. All right, time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
It's brought to us by the Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. You guys will love this. We're starting with some Temple football stuff.
Gotta love it.
By the way, we have 2 pairs of tickets to give away for Saturday's game against the Sooners today. So we'll tell you how you can win them.
Yeah, and they might be a tough ticket to get otherwise if you believe what Oklahoma media members were caught saying on a hot mic. So Oklahoma was having a press conference, and as they were waiting, some media members were having a conversation that was caught on microphone. And here's what they had to say.
How many Leaf fans are just in that? I bet it's like 25K, I think. Total? Yeah. It'll be interesting. Like coming to high school game. It's gonna be like a weird bowl game.
Like a high school game is what they called it for the matchup with the Temple Owls.
I love my Owls. They're not wrong. The Temple Owls' average attendance last year was 13,000, so they're hoping for 25. Their average attendance last year was 13,000.
By the way, it'll blow 25 away.
I would imagine so, yeah, because there's going to be people that are going to want to see Oklahoma.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not saying it's just going to be for that. Coach Keeler's going to do some good things.
I can also tell you it's still early in the season where the freshmen actually want to go to football games, right? Like, that's a big part of it, too.
Right.
And I'm going to this game because go Owls, man. I try to go to a couple games a year.
You get a chance to see an SEC team come into Philadelphia.
Right, absolutely.
You got to go do it. By the way, I did make the wager.
Okay, 24
so I did
and a half.
get the points. I took, with the points. So I have the points in the matchup.
Okay.
And I will have to intern on the set of The Young and the Restless for my buddy Josh. If they lose.
You want to lose.
No, you have to.
You want to lose.
You'd have to intern. No, you have to intern, which means you have to might have to go get coffees. You may have to go run errands. No, that's not fun.
You don't want to go get coffee for one of the people you watch on TV every day?
That's not fun. That's not because it's more fun to just hang out and just watch them. No, I'm not enjoying it.
Line movement since those comments, now 23 now.
No, whatever. Oh, no, that's not good for
material.
Me.
No, but you guys made the bet already. You locked that one in.
Bet's made.
What else we got?
All right, so this is a timeless debate that we've had a billion times, but Draymond Green has recently added to it. We haven't done LeBron MJ in a minute, and Draymond Green was with Castellanos recently, and he talked about why LeBron greater than Jordan.
Can I ask you why people watch streamers?
Because they do interesting stuff. Not the point. Draymond Green.
I don't think MJ had many guys that went through that. Like Scottie Pippen is like
Matthew Dellavedova.
Deli stinks. Like Matt, he won 2 games in the NBA Finals with Deli stinks.
Now, a ricochet shot at our guy, Matthew Dellavedova, right there, but saying that LeBron played with a guy like Dellavedova, so he hasn't had help. That's the point.
LeBron dragging the Cleveland Cavaliers the first time to the finals.
One of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Him and Iverson.
Yeah.
Iverson dragging that bunch to a finals.
Yeah.
But I think that it was harder. What LeBron did was harder to get that team to the finals.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was more competitive.
I get what Draymond Green's trying to say. And look, you know me, I absolved myself from the conversation because I didn't watch Jordan. I watched Jordan in person when he was wearing a Wizards jersey. So I always absolved myself from that conversation.
It's so incredible to me that it's one of those things that just goes, man, I feel old.
Yeah, sorry.
When someone says that, because it's incredible.
And we all know that Draymond loves himself some LeBron James. Like, he does.
LeBron's fantastic. Look, yeah. LeBron's fantastic. Jordan's fantastic.
Yeah. Doesn't always have to be a debate.
I never will look at LeBron as Jordan. And maybe that's my bias.
Right,
I'll never
because he's
look at
better.
I'll never look at LeBron as Jordan. No, he's not. No, he's not. I don't think the dog in him, I'll never look at.
I don't have Jordan in my top 5.
I'm
kidding.
But seriously, can somebody tell me why? Like,
what? Seriously,
streamers like.
No, what does it do? Does interesting stuff, Connor? What is it so?
He set off
interesting
fireworks in his room once. Like, wow, that's fun.
I don't know. People find it entertaining. You know, what? Like we don't watch dumb stuff.
This speed guy.
No, but I mean, like what?
Like what? What does this do for you?
Like what? I don't understand.
Know,
I don't get it.
It's not my world.
It's not for us.
Exactly.
It's not
my
for
world.
us. It's not for us.
You guys have fun. I just don't like. They just sit in front on their chair all day and talk.
Yeah, or they play a video game and you watch the stream of them playing.
You know what I like to do? I like to play the video game.
Yes, I understand. Like watching someone else play it.
But we like to play sports. We also like to watch people play sports. It's just a different venue of that.
You mean professionals play sports?
They're professional streamers, John.
They're professional gamers.
Streamers, yes.
Versus
and now they're
just
doing the
playing your
YouTube TV football broadcast from last week. All right, coming up next, Eagles are 1-0, getting ready to take on the Chiefs Sunday. Kevin Patullo got a passing grade for Week 1, but John Kincade has some red flags.
Oh, how about 2 of them?
2 from comments he made yesterday. I'll give you guys another 50 home run trivia question as well. It is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
History at the bank. I'm Connor Thomas, and wow, we saw history in a couple ways last night. The Phillies took down the Mets behind a 9-run, 13-hit performance. It was great to see. And Ranger Suarez, awesome in his start. He made personal history, went 6 scoreless, allowed only 1 hit, tallied 12 strikeouts, which is a career high for him. But the big milestone of the night belonged to Kyle Schwarber.
3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50. Kyle Schwarber has just hit his 50th home run of the season.
That audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Schwarber joins Ryan Howard as one of only 2 players in Phillies history to hit 50 homers in a single season. The Phils lead in the division is now up to 9 games after taking the first 2 from the Mets. Game 3 is tonight at 6:45. Christopher Sanchez faces Clay Holmes. The Eagles got some good news on Jaylen Carter's availability yesterday as the NFL has decided not to suspend him for Week 2. We'll get our first injury report of the week today ahead of the matchup at Kansas City. And Nick Sirianni will meet with the media coming up at 12:10. So you get a chance to hear from the head coach on what the plan is for the Super Bowl rematch. This update is brought to you by Temple Football. Be there as Temple clashes with nationally ranked Oklahoma this Saturday at noon at Lincoln Financial Field, owlstix.com. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Attack me. Real Mama Eagle has chimed in. I love Real Mama Eagle. She says, I'm a streamer here. I talk mental health and sports on mine. Think it's a fun place to hang out. My mental health combos have helped people. You're actually doing something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Right.
that. Yes.
Right.
Yes. It's like, let me blow up
let me go watch
fireworks in my room.
Let me go set off fireworks in my room. Like, what are you doing? Or go watch someone play video games.
Look, we're streaming on YouTube, right? Like, I get it. It's just
Like,
there's some things that I don't understand.
Yeah, and it's not meant. And as we said in the beginning, we said it twice when we talked about it. It's just not for us.
Yeah, it's like
not-
TV shows. There are some that we like. There are some we
but there's
don't.
at least storytelling.
Yeah, but there's something to it. It's like you're reading, like you can, like we're telling Haley, there is a thing to, and it is actually being studied.
Mm-hmm.
There's brain rot.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
And it's like doom scrolling. And all you have to do is watch any group of teenagers. And if you've raised a teenager recently, which I have, you can watch the teenagers and the doom scrolling.
Yeah.
And then I watch too many 20-somethings. and the doom scrolling that cannot put down their freaking phones.
Yeah.
They can't do it. They can't be in public. They can't stand by themselves at a hi, I'm waiting for a table. Or I'm waiting for a table. Okay. You've got two. Let's we're going to clean the table for you, and you're just standing there. Can't do it without clearing through the phone.
People struggle.
It just can't be alone without the phone. But it's a generation.
Yeah, and it's not changing.
Attached.
You're fighting a losing battle in there, boys.
I know. I should try to make millions of dollars.
Correct.
I should try to start one, but it's just not for me. All right. Real quick, before we get to this Kevin Patullo conversation, I want to give you another one of these trivia questions. I'm having fun with these. Kyle Schwarber hit number 50 yesterday, 34th player in Major League Baseball history to have accomplished that. Can you guys give me the 7 active players that have had a 50 home run season? Obviously, Kyle Schwarber being one of them, so you have to give me 6 more.
Yes, Aaron Judge.
Correct.
That's
Shohei
really
Ohtani.
Correct.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Correct.
Is Chris Davis still active?
No.
But he did hit 50 home runs.
Yes, he did. That's shocking.
Huh.
And then he went in the total tank.
All right, so you gave me so far Shohei,
Judge and
Stanton.
Giancarlo.
Wait a minute. Did
you guys are missing one.
Did Olsen hit 50?
He did, and that happened here in Philadelphia.
That's
Olsen
right.
hit 50.
I'll give you 2 more clues. 1, currently doing it, and 1 in division.
For the Mariners.
Yeah, the dumper.
The dumper.
Oh, right, yeah.
Big dumper.
I wasn't considering this season, but
Yes.
yeah, Cal Raleigh.
Which you had to do
I
that.
just said, and
Cal Raleigh.
Schwarber, and another player in division.
Okay, and another player in division.
Oh, Pete Alonso.
Yes.
Very good.
There you go.
should've
You guys
gotten
each
Pete
get half.
Alonso.
You guys each get half.
Because
a point.
Connor and Pete Alonso would be best friends.
So Connor's at
convinced.
1.5. John's at 1.5.
I'm convinced Connor and Pete Alonso would be best.
In my
friends.
defense, I'm best friends with everybody.
You are a great Connor is, as I've said many times, one of the sweetest people you would ever meet. He is a golden retriever. But Connor and Pete Alonso, if they lived in the same apartment complex, would be bros.
Yeah,
They would get matching outfits. They would be on the same softball team.
No Mets allowed.
You want to play pickup basketball? Let's go play pickup basketball. Let's do it.
All right, Kevin
Sounds fun.
Patullo.
They'd
you
be
have,
best friends.
You have red flags.
Oh, I do. I'm telling you, and it's not overreacting. It is not overreacting.
We'll see. Your first red flag was Go ahead.
Let me give it to you. Jeff McClain's tweet.
We have audio.
Oh, okay.
for it.
Well, we're going to hear it. Okay, good.
So your first one was the running into the box.
Yeah, Kevin Patullo on the idea that, yes, in the game, and this is two from NFL Network and NFL Live, the Eagles attempted their runs on Thursday night 2/3 of the time into overloaded boxes. Then Kevin Patullo's answer was,
it's funny. Not really. When you look at it situationally, we went back and did some self-scouting stuff. It wasn't that we ran into heavy boxes. I think there was just at times situationally there was a run called, and when you look at the coverage that we were given, they were kind of messing around with some stuff that appeared to be a little bit of a heavy box, and we didn't always block it properly. So we just got to continue to work on that. But really, when you look at just kind of the calls with how the flow of the game was going, for the most part, obviously in the first couple drives, we had a good flow as far as the run pass mix, and kind of continued with that. So I wouldn't say, we definitely knew exactly every play what was going to happen. So it was a good mix for the most part.
all right, Kevin Patullo's not lying that the idea that they were mixing stuff up on them, but they were definitely loaded boxes, and NFL Live and NFL Network both did segments on it.
Okay.
So they disagree. Their experts disagree with, oh, not really. No, they did. They ran into loaded boxes all the time. And that tells me that a rookie play caller wasn't seeing what they were doing, or they weren't giving the option for the checkout.
That is what I was going to bring up.
And I wonder about that.
Are we sure that Hurts did not have the option, or did Hurts miss something?
Or did the option not exist for checking out of it to something else?
Right.
When you see this look, I would imagine that Jalen Hurts has far more carte blanche than he's ever had.
Sure, I completely agree with you.
And I believe that Kevin Patullo and them have talked about that during the offseason, that they did, the collaboration. But it really does concern me because the Eagles ran into more oversized, overstocked boxes than any team in the NFL in week 1.
Good, they should.
No. not on Monday night, because what they didn't do is they also didn't go to their stars.
Okay.
They let their 2 stars rot. They let A.J. Brown rot. They let Devontae Smith rot. That is what you shouldn't have done. You should have seen it. You should have seen what was going on from the first quarter, and they showed it on NFL Network. From first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, that's when you adjust. Okay, they're doing this to us in the first quarter. The second quarter, that's where you need to start throwing the football, because then that takes them out of the loaded boxes. Then that frees up Saquon, and it also gives AJ and Devontae chances to make
and maybe
plays.
it was, again, the rookie first-time offensive
And that's what I'm
coordinator.
saying. That's why I
Hopefully
gave
it looks
him
better
grace.
in week
That's why I
2.
give
But
him
this
grace.
is the right mistake to make, because I would much rather them lose the pass game early to rely on the better part of the offense and then build it in than go away from the run right off the rip and immediately lose Saquon.
Well, you don't have to go away from the run when you're running into loaded boxes, which doesn't. You're running into brick walls and you're banging your head against the wall.
Right, but he's making the mistake on the right side of the argument, I think.
Yeah, I do not like it.
All right, and
like
what's
what he
the
did.
other red flag you got here?
Zach Berman with a good note from it, and got to see Zach the other night. Good to see him. He was asked about opening scripts and saying that we're a little bit of an older veteran team, so you may not have to. As far as he doesn't, they scripted out the first 15 plays, and that's one of the reasons I asked Adam about it. So are Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni being innovative here by not scripting out? Now look, the first 3 drives ended in touchdowns.
Yeah.
I wanted to stand in row 3 of the press box and give a standing ovation, because to me, I don't care what anybody wants to say about the night that Patullo had. And I have comments on it, and as I have, where I thought that he had a really, really strong start and not a strong finish. But the first 3 drives ending in 3 touchdowns. No matter what I think about the approach, no matter what I think about what happened, to Connor's point, he likes that he erred maybe on the right side. He didn't err at all when 21 points were put on the board.
Right.
So Patullo gets that. But the idea of them not scripting out their first series, I do have a weird, like that sort of is a strange thing to me.
Here's Kevin Patullo talking about. Let's take a listen.
The first drive was not scripted. It was a little more of a kind of like what was happening and what we were getting, and kind of challenging them a little bit versus what we were seeing. You know, every drive is a little bit different. Sometimes we're trying to see what they're doing. Sometimes you get a feel for what they're doing rather quickly. And I think it was a little bit of a balance of both. And we were able to kind of see what was going on and kind of plan the next couple of things from there.
I have a thought.
Okay.
I wonder, maybe I'm on to something. Maybe it's just
you could be.
Maybe it's just drugs. I don't know. Could it be that it was week 1 and they don't know what the tendencies of the Cowboys defense is yet?
My exact thought.
And
new head coach, new DC.
Week 2, you have 1 week of information on the Chiefs defense. Week 3, you'll have 2 weeks of information on the Rams defense. Week 4, you'll have 3 weeks of information on the Bucs defense.
Okay. Here's where this comes from, though. Again, what bothers me about it is the Andy Reids, the greatest offensive minds, the Sean McVays and others, they all scripted.
Sure. And the Eagles are 1-0.
So I got you. But it wasn't a great offensive performance for the team.
But you're talking about the time when it was great.
No, but but I'm just saying to you is I'm not counting on them to be like the super innovative bunch that is just, I don't know. I'm just not comfortable, especially for a rookie.
See, I didn't get that reaction at all.
A rookie offensive coordinator.
Maybe he wanted to get his feet wet. Maybe there's a scripted place for this. I don't know. We'll see. The reporters will have to ask. We don't know what's scripted or not. We have no idea. It's just whether or not they tell you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, coming up, regardless of your red flags, it could be worse.
Sure
you could have your team dropping like flies after just 1 week. We talk about a team that could already be behind the 8 ball next. That is still a contender in the NFC. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Birds Insider update on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles got some good news from the league yesterday. It was announced that Jaylen Carter will not be facing additional suspension from his spitting incident on Thursday night. He would be fined a game check, which is around $57,000 for him, but he would not be out for the game against the Chiefs, according to the NFL. Now, Nick Sirianni has previously been asked, and he has not been willing to say whether or not there there will be internal repercussions. So we'll see if the Eagles play Jaylen Carter, but the NFL will not be restricting him, which is a good thing when you have a Super Bowl rematch on the docket for Week 2 in Kansas City. We will hear from Nick Sirianni coming up at 12:10 today. We'll see if he's asked any further about the Jaylen Carter situation. Vic Fangio and Kevin Patullo both met with media yesterday, though, and Vic Fangio talked about losing Jaylen Carter in the Cowboys game and how much it affected the defense.
Well, I think the first thing that happens is, now you're down to 4 D linemen, and everybody's rep count's got to go up. So, to me, that's the biggest adjustment. Obviously, you lose the player, which is no good.
Yeah, and losing your best player on defense, not the way you want to start Week 1. Luckily for Kevin Patullo, first-time offensive coordinator, he did not have to play Week 1 without his best player. He talked about Jalen Hurts' performance.
I think he's just more comfortable. When you look at it, just another year kind of going against defenses and seeing things and understanding what he's seeing and just being able to communicate it with guys. And like I said, I've been around him for a while. We've talked about that before. So I think that just kind of felt more natural to him, and he did a good job.
I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoons feel like ground?
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Two pairs of tickets for Saturday's Temple, Oklahoma game. So here's what I want to do. All right. I don't want to just do first person to text this word or something like that. I'm going to ask you guys to actually do a little bit of work here. And Connor, I'm sorry to do this to you. I would like our two winners, you will each get a pair of tickets, to text in at 610-632-0975. This is not something that's necessarily going to get onto the air. But you explaining why you truly want the tickets. Because I want people that are actually going to go, and it doesn't have to be Temple alum. It could be somebody that says, hey, I never get a chance to go to the link. I would like to go there. I don't really watch much college football because this is not a big college football town, so I would like to see Oklahoma. But I would also like you to say that you would rep the Philadelphia school, whether you went to the Owls or not. Now, look, extra credit if you are an alum because you're going to make some more noise than a person that...
We had two pairs, right?
Yes.
Okay, one of the pairs has to go to a Temple.
I agree with you. But I don't
want to give them up to just general people.
But I also don't want somebody that's just going to like text in and then like try to flip it or something. Like I want you to like actually want to go to this game and experience something that we don't really often get to experience. An SEC school, to your point, coming here, a big name school, especially when Temple's had a fun start. They're 2-0 to start the season. So 610-632-0975. Plead your case as to why you would like the tickets. Temple battles Oklahoma, number 13 ranked Oklahoma this Saturday, September 13th at noon. I will be in attendance. Can't wait. Lincoln Financial Field. Get your tickets today by visiting owlstix.com or by explaining why you should be a winner of a pair at 610-632-0975 via the text line. All right, so the San Francisco 49ers are a team that, like the Mets, kind of like the boogeyman, where you're always going to keep a close eye on them, right? Last year, even when they were 5-7, I was still thinking, and you were kind of with me, John, man, if McCaffrey comes back and he's what we know he can be, that team is still dangerous. And then they just dropped like flies. Like everybody got hurt on San Francisco last year. They're already dealing with it now. Brock Purdy could miss week 2 with a shoulder and toe injury.
And the toe we're more concerned about.
Yep. Jawan Jennings got banged up. George Kittle will miss an extended period of time. I hate to say it, but it's true. Christian McCaffrey is like one bad hit away from getting hurt again. I mean, it's just a common theme for him.
Crystal gets hurt a lot.
Christian McCaffrey gets hurt a lot.
He does.
And so San Francisco is already behind the 8 ball, and the reason why, again, we never root for injuries, they have the easiest, on paper, strength of schedule in the NFL. I still think that's a team that, when healthy, could potentially win their division. And who knows, if your schedule is easy enough, you could get a home game out of it, and more than just one, depending on your seeding. They could be a 2 seed.
I mean, you win your division, you're guaranteed one home game.
Right.
So you get that.
Get
the 2 seed, you're guaranteed 2 home games.
This is a rough start to them, but a big start for other teams looking at what the window is like in the NFC, because that's one of those teams that, despite what we say about them, like I hate them just as much as you guys. That's another team that you go, all right, that's another team that could be off the radar because of what they're dealing with right now.
That'd be nice because they are dangerous.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy, to me, is very similar to what people are going to overreact after week 1 to J.J. McCarthy. But as I've said, people with J.J. McCarthy are like, well, what's J.J. McCarthy? I said, well, he could do anything that Brock Purdy could do because he did it better than Brock Purdy did in college on a bigger stage and bigger scale games.
Sure.
So, like, I mean, there's a they can be dangerous. And Kyle Shanahan, no matter that he's one of those despicable people who puts out towels at the pool and then leaves, he is a great coach. He's a great coach. He's had nothing but success.
And so that's a team that I'm always going to keep my eye on.
Right.
And the fact that they might be missing they are missing their tight end. They could miss their quarterback. They could miss because of the Ayuk injury that they're already dealing with, their best receiver in Juwan Jennings. And even if these guys do play, just how effective are they? San Francisco could take a loss early on in the season because of injuries that they're dealing with. And so that's something to keep an eye on. What do we got on the text line, Connor, on any of our talking points today?
First of all, screw you, because now I've got a billion people with the greatest reasons ever to go to this game that I have to choose between, which is impossible.
I apologize to you.
Yes, you did. We also have a bunch of people checking on all of our topics today. Mike from Turnersville says, love the Eagles on Sunday. Chiefs are without the suspended Rashee Rice, no Xavier Worthy. They traded Thune, Kelsey, and Chris Jones a year older. I think the Chiefs may have problems making the playoffs. Don't even think this game will be close.
I'm not going to go that far, but
I'm not going that far.
But like this, at this point of the season, like Schefter said, it looked weird, Kansas City in week 1, but he does not see a world where the Chiefs are 0-2. I do, because they're playing the Eagles. If they were playing the Panthers, sure.
Well, he didn't say that.
Right, he didn't
just
predict
said
that.
he didn't say that he didn't
He's just
see
not used to
a
seeing
world.
it.
He goes, "Can you imagine the
Right.
world?" Like that's pretty crazy.
And I can.
I can too.
Because they lost week 1.
I
And
really
I
do.
feel chesty about this upcoming week for the Philadelphia Eagles. I really do. This is going to be one of those games where if it goes the other way, I'll be really, really bummed out, man. Not going to lie to you.
Oh, yeah, as opposed to the other times the Eagles lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
I feel really good about this week. All right, coming up next.
Nick Sirianni's done real well in big games.
Yes, he absolutely
really,
has.
really well.
Is there any way that Ranger Suarez can stay? He spoke about his love for the Phillies organization. We'll discuss that next, plus more of your 50 home run season trivia questions that I have for you guys. You can play along at home as well. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Finally hitting 50. I'm Connor Thomas, and last night was the night, folks. Not only did the Phillies beat the Mets, 9-run effort, 13-hit effort, but Ranger Suarez was also great. 6 scoreless innings. He allowed only 1 hit over those 6 and tallied a career high in 12 strikeouts. And then the cherry on top, we finally got the milestone.
3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50! Kyle Schwarber has just hit his 50th home run of the season.
That audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Schwarber becomes just the second player in Phillies history to hit 50 home runs in a season. Joining the big piece, Ryan Howard. Phil's leading the division now 9 games. Game 3 is tonight against the Mets, 6:45. Christopher Sanchez versus Clay Holmes. The Eagles got some good news yesterday. Jaylen Carter not being suspended for the Week 2 game after the spitting incident in Week 1. We'll get our first injury report of the week today ahead of the matchup at KC, and Nick Sirianni will meet with media coming up at 12:10. This update is brought to you by Bet365. Football is back. Get ready for the season at Bet365. When it comes to sports books, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. So last night, Ranger Suarez, again, just dazzling. 12 strikeouts yesterday. Another incredible 6 shutout innings out of him. And for the Phillies to want to go on a deep playoff run, obviously we're going to have to see Ranger Danger pitch as well as he has. And with Christopher Sanchez going in Game 1 and Ranger Suarez either going in Game 2 or Game 3, depending on how they want to set it up at home, on the road, you name it. It's great to see Ranger Suarez pitch the way that he did. Now, I saw something from our buddy John Foley put out this tweet. This was back in March when Ranger Suarez was asked, about staying here. And this is after, look, this is going into this year. 1 year left. And we know that Christopher Sanchez had already gotten paid. We know that Aaron Nola had already gotten paid. Quote, "This is my childhood club. All I think about is staying here." Now, that could just be the right answer in March. And I understand that every incredible outing that he has, you hear cha-ching, 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 right? Because there will be teams out there that will be looking for a dominant left-handed pitcher. I know that part of the reason why maybe he won't get paid as much as most is because he doesn't have that explosive fastball. And obviously the injuries in the back and all that kind of stuff has plagued him in the past. But we saw him have a rough spell in July this year and then completely get back into the Ranger Suarez that we know and love in August and now so far here in September.
Okay.
Do you guys even have the slightest feeling that he could potentially be back here? Or do you think he's just as good as gone?
I think he's gone.
Yeah, me too.
And I think because of the fact is that, and people don't understand this part of the process. The agent, he has a very bold agent.
Yes, he does.
The agent works for you. And people talk about it. Well, the agent wants to do that. No. The agent works for you. It's not vice versa. The agent doesn't tell you what offer you're going to take. The agent doesn't tell you where you're going to choose to live. The agent doesn't tell you what team to pick. The agent just gets you the best deal.
Yeah.
But you tell the agent what you're going to do. If Ranger leaves town, it's because Ranger wants to leave town for the best deal that he can get. And God bless him if he does. He's earned it. Whatever he's earned, he's earned if he can get it. But if Ranger leaves town, it's because that's a bunch of bullcrap. That's all talk. It's because I just want to get the biggest paycheck. But you don't hear enough people just say that. I want to go get the best deal for my family, and they should say that.
Yeah.
I'm looking out for my family, looking out for my future.
Now, he, again, will continue to get more and more expensive, especially if he pitches well in the playoffs, which I think we all expect him to pitch well in the playoffs because he is cool as cool
Oh
can
my
be.
gosh, he's so calm.
I'm going to be so sad when he's not here anymore.
Yeah, now I'll tell you, this moment we're in right now is as close as I've been to saying there's a chance he comes back because I've been heavily on the side there's no shot. The Wheeler thing really complicates this.
Yeah, but the Wheeler thing is still he's getting paid.
I know.
That's the thing. It's not the smart baseball decision is to keep Ranger Suarez, but it's not just about baseball. It's about the dollars.
Well, Wheeler's only getting paid through 26 and 27.
27, yeah.
So Wheeler's only getting paid for 2 more, so they can work that. They can work that on the books and try to figure something out there.
Yeah, because if you don't have Wheeler for a good portion of next year, and we do not know yet, that's a really tricky recovery from the blood clot thing.
Sure.
What is your rotation?
As of yesterday, they said he still hasn't gotten a procedure.
But they also did say and made it clear, if you're a fine-tuned athlete, it could be 6 months you could be throwing again. From the time you have the surgery, you could be throwing again, and you could amp up and
you'll be okay.
Like whatever spring training normally throwing.
Right, but that's murky. So let's say something doesn't go right, and he's not available for a good part of next year. Your rotation, if Ranger walks, is Sanchez 1, Luzardo 2, Nola,
Painter.
Exactly.
Painter's got to be here.
Painter gets you to 4.
What they'll
though.
tell you. And,
so you're going to have to add somebody
got one
else
more
in.
year left of Taiwan.
Taiwan too.
Yeah.
Until
So
Wheeler comes back.
Are the Phillies comfortable with rolling into that?
I don't think they're comfortable with it, but again, it's the money thing. John Middleton. It's up to John Middleton.
And by the way, again, and I know we have Taiwan Walker fatigue. Taiwan Walker is a top 25% fifth starter in the NFL, in the Major League Baseball.
That's all you're asking.
And it's not even close. He is giving you what better than 75% of Major League Baseball teams have in a fifth starter. He's giving you what people just have the fatigue of all the crap that he gave us.
Well, especially because he wasn't brought in here
and the money.
Be
correct.
a fifth
He was
starter.
expected to be a 4, right?
Yeah. Or 3. Because I don't think anybody thought Sanchez was going to be a Cy Young candidate. You know what I mean? At the time. So yeah, look, I would love to see him back. I don't believe that he is. I just think he's going to get paid a lot of money, and they already have a lot of money on the books. You have to worry about Schwarber.
That's the thing.
You have to worry about Real Muto. There's a lot of guys you have to worry about.
Yeah, if anyone wants Ranger back, do not take your eye off the ball. Kyle Schwarber is infinitely more important to this baseball team.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I love Ranger, but
I know
he's priority number 1.
I know. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, 8 Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Speaking of Kyle Schwarber, he hit home run number 50 yesterday, just the 34th player in Major League Baseball history to have accomplished that. So today, I've been throwing trivia questions of 50-plus home run seasons to John and Connor, and I know a lot of you have been playing at home as well. Let me give you one. Let's say this name is an obvious answer.
Okay.
But the question or the surprise is he only did it once. An obvious answer, but a surprise he only did it once.
Huh. I feel like that can be a little subjective.
Could be.
I don't.
50-plus home run seasons. An obvious answer, but surprisingly only did it once.
Then Ryan Howard.
No.
No?
Giancarlo Stanton. I feel like you could say that about a lot of
I thought you were trying to trick us.
Even more surprising. 600-plus home runs.
Bonds.
McGuire?
Jim Thome.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Only did
Bonds
it one time.
Bonds did do it multiple.
I don't love that question there, Mr. Salciunas.
Why?
Because
That's
it's subjective on who you don't know.
I think it's a great question.
Thank you. That's a trivia.
Kissing up
that's
to
a
the
trivia guy
master.
right
I think
there.
it's a great question.
I'm surprised he only did it once.
Yeah, I'm floored. Yeah, I'm floored.
And he
that.
did it with Cleveland.
Especially the amount that he did.
He had 600-plus home runs, and he only hit 50-plus home runs in a season one time.
Played forever, though.
Yeah, but, was hurt for a majority of his season here. Toward the tail end, he wasn't, hitting 30 bombs.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by it. But he was consistently, 45-plus, right? That's the amazing thing. I'll give you another one.
Okay.
Father and son.
Oh, easy.
Griffey.
No.
Wrong.
No,
Really?
no. Cecil Fielder and Prince Fielder.
Correctamundo.
By the way, Prince Fielder, the heaviest vegan ever.
Yeah.
Guy just must eat Oreos and bread. He must have Oreo sandwiches.
And steak. Oh, no, vegan, sorry.
No,
Yeah.
he's vegan.
No, you could eat the vegan steak.
No, he's
the fake
vegan.
steak. Yeah.
No, he's vegan.
The
He is
seitan
a
or the
Oreo steak.
whatever.
We got to interview him. And I said to him, well, what does he eat? Were you saying I'm fat? That's what he said in spring training. He was down at spring training.
Probably been dealing with that his whole life.
I said, well, you're saying you're vegan. I said, I would think a vegan would be in really, really good shape. He goes, so you're saying I'm fat. He was very funny with it. But he wouldn't tell us what he eats.
Maybe he's surprised by it.
Must eat a lot of bread. No, you're eating a lot of bread. Eating Oreo sandwiches is what I'm thinking. Dorito sandwiches.
Is it Cecil or Cecil Fielder?
Cecil,
right?
Cecil.
Yeah, I said it wrong there.
That's all right.
It's all right.
I'll give you one more. And I got more of these throughout the course of the show. But we got our 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter coming up next.
Right.
Schefter gave us a lot of information on the Jaylen
Schefter
Carter
was
situation.
downloaded today.
So if you missed it earlier and you haven't watched on YouTube yet, 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter comes your way in the next segment. The only guy to have done it where it was over 2 teams because he was traded in season.
Oh, my gosh.
So he hit over 50 home runs.
Has to be modern era.
Was that McGuire?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Mark McGuire, the
From
year
the A's to the Cardinals.
The year that he hit 57 home runs, he hit 34 home runs with the A's in 105 games, and then hit 24 home runs in just 51 games with the Cardinals, and that was one of his 50-plus seasons. How about that? See, I told
Yeah, man, that dude was
you're
good.
up,
What
you're
was
up
his
3.5
secret?
to 1.5.
Yeah, you did a good job there, Connor. By the way, I just want to say something that came across, those intrusive thoughts. I had one last night watching the Phillies because I'm doing the math, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, yeah, they're going to clinch next week on the road.
Okay.
Most likely they'll clinch in Arizona. So I'm putting it out there preemptively.
Oh,
DJ AAA.
they're not going to.
DJ AAA better not say anything about the pool and better not go anywhere near the pool. Because that was bad juju before, and it better not happen again. Because it looks like they're going to clinch in. If you're doing the math, it looks like Arizona is on a collision course that they clinch in Arizona, unless they just beat the Dodgers' backside. And I'm telling you, DJ AAA better not do anything about, oh, boy, that pool looks good.
I
Let
think
me
it'd be
put my
funny if
goggles
he made
on.
a joke about it, though.
No, that wasn't fun. That wasn't fun. We don't need the last guy on the bench doesn't need to be talking about anything.
They're not going in the pool.
Just like Paul Reed.
Well,
I
they don't
remember
even
that,
need
too.
to be talking about the pool.
All right, 5 best minutes of
been
Adam
there, done
Schefter.
that.
Schefter gave us a lot of insight on the Jaylen Carter situation, the decision by the league, and he does not believe that there will be any punishment on Sunday. You'll hear the 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter coming your way next here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to... Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage.
Momentarily, I have 50-plus home run season trivia questions. Connor's winning 3.5 to 1.5 because you guys split the
Connor's all over
the 7 active players.
He's doing great.
Yeah. So Aaron Judge is 6 away from his 4th 50 home run season, which is nuts, and he's still young.
That is fantastic.
Who are the other 2 players that have hit 50 home runs 4 times? One name you guys have already answered for one of the questions today, and another you have not.
Did McGuire do it 4 times?
McGuire did it 4 times, so that's one.
Bonds had to do it 4 times.
I don't believe that he did.
No?
I don't believe that he did, John, because I don't see it on this list.
That's crazy.
I mean, he played for a long time.
He did?
He did it just 1 time, John.
See, that's why that was a subjective question. Would surprise he only did it once.
All right, that's a good point.
That's crazy.
That's a good point, Connor.
That's crazy.
But that wasn't the question, so you lose.
Thanks.
Do you guys think of the other one?
I want to say it's one of those Yankees from like the big time years.
Which name an era?
You know, like
name an era.
The Garrett Ruth. Is it Ruth?
It is Babe Ruth.
Oh my gosh.
Babe Ruth hit 4 times 50-plus home runs.
Connor.
The first one ever in Major League history.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
So you're up 4.5 to 1.
I wouldn't have guessed that because I would have said, okay, he probably hit like 48, 45. Because Roger Maris was such a big deal.
Oh, that's one of the trivia questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The question was they made a movie off of it.
Yeah, Roger Maris, 61.
But yeah, Asterisk. I mean, no, like it's amazing because this is why we're celebrating Kyle Schwarber for doing it.
These are big names.
Only 34 players in Major League Baseball history have done it. It's just crazy that
it caused Topper to curse.
Right, it did. We might see 4 this year because I could see Judge pop off 6 more home runs.
Ohtani.
But where's
Raleigh?
Ohtani at?
I think he might be at 48 or 49.
He is at 48. So there's only been, one time, 2 times where multiple people did it? Oh, there was a year where 3-0-1. 4-0-1. Oh, that's your next trivia question.
Well, what's crazy, though, is that Connor points out a number the other day, and I think it's definitely happening, we're most likely, barring something cataclysmic, we're not going to have a 100-win baseball team this year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Super weird.
That's really crazy. And baseball playoffs are always wide open anyway.
Yeah.
But to not have a 100-win baseball team, the only team that can do it is the Brewers. And they already have 57 losses now.
Yeah.
So they have to lose 5. Right now, they got to lose 5 of their last 16 games. They got to go, they're absolute. They have to lose 6. So they have to go 10-6 to lose. And I think they're going to clinch and maybe end up having some hangover games and everything.
Could be.
That could easily happen.
Yeah, could be. All right, earlier today, Adam Schefter gave us a lot of information on the Jaylen Carter situation. Here he is. From ESPN, Adam Schefter joins us. Schefter, you've been raised to number 1.
To our favorite. We voted.
On the power rankings. You're our favorite now.
Oh, Andrew, John, what did I do to deserve that honor?
We said, look, he's our favorite.
You're now number 1. All right.
So you're number 1 in the power ranking.
Congratulations. I know that means a lot for you.
Nagandi be damned.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he went to our alma mater and we all went to the same school, we're going with a Michigan guy.
There you go. I appreciate the honor.
I'm sure you're honored. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for week 2.
I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him 1 game check, and so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship/spitting/ conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
You brought up the point, though, on one of your follow-up tweets yesterday about the situation about his agent and dealing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Could you clarify what that could potentially be concerning?
The Eagles could have decided to go after some of the money in Jaylen Carter's contract. There were clauses that were set up, forfeiture clauses, things that made them able to pursue signing bonus payment forfeiture. And again, in their conversations with the league and each other and the PA, the Eagles and Jaylen's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, worked out an agreement that says the team will not use the suspension to void any of the guaranteed money in his contract.
Now, Schefty, is there still a chance that the Eagles could do something this upcoming Sunday? Last year, he missed an entire quarter, was benched an entire quarter for missing meetings, being late to meetings, I should say. Is there still any chance that the Eagles say, hey, if that was worthy of 1 quarter being off, this might be as well, or are we all done?
I would guess we're done. Like, the team was fighting for him not to be suspended. So to me, it would be unusual for the team to go to bat on his behalf to avoid suspension and then say, okay, we're going to sit you for a quarter. Again, the NFL, the league itself, determined that the punishment was retroactive to last week. So to me, I would think the team would stand by that. I'm sure, obviously, the team has had conversations with Jaylen about how that type of behavior is unacceptable.
Now, the Eagles get ready for the Super Bowl rematch as it's all being put out this week, that it's the Eagles and the Chiefs again. Now, we were talking this morning. We don't believe that it was 40-6 when the starters went out. We don't believe the two teams were that lopsided in talent against each other. But the beatdown on that day was very visible. To see Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes get taken out like that, what do you think they've got cooking for Sunday? And Steve Spagnuolo.
Well, I think that it's going to be a tough challenge because, look, the Chiefs lost their first game, and they're 0-1. So they're the only team in that division, amazingly enough, after 1 week that didn't win a game. I mean, it would be something if the Chiefs fell 0-2. 0-2. That there's no way that they've ever started 0-2 under Mahomes. No way. So that to me is one of the biggest challenges that the Eagles face is you know you're getting their A game this Sunday. home opener for them, 0-1. Like you're gonna get their best game on Sunday.
Shefty, Zadarius Smith signs with the Eagles. Then they make the trade for Tank Bigsby. Was this something that you believe has been in the works for a while, or was this something to do with week one?
Both were in the works for a while. Zadarius Smith they've been talking to for quite some time. I think that they were moving towards the deal, didn't get it done in time for the opener, and obviously then got it done shortly thereafter the next day. Tank Bigsby, the conversations with the Jaguars dated back to this summer. Initially, Tank Bigsby was supposed to be part of that deal with Fred Johnson, the offensive tackle. And there were some discussions, and Jacksonville, at the end, pulled him back from the trade, and they had agreed to two separate packages. One that was a solo Fred Johnson trade, another that was a Fred Johnson and Tank Bigsby trade together. In the end, ultimately at that time, Jacksonville decided it only wanted to part ways with Fred Johnson, but obviously the Eagles remained interested in Tank Bigsby, went back to the well, and finally were able to pry him loose for a 5 and a 6.
Shefty, we appreciate the time, man. We'll try to get this phone line cleared up one day, and we'll talk to you again.
We'll see you. Take care, Shefty.
Thank you very much, guys, and have a great week.
There's our 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter. Listen to the whole thing on 975thefanatic.com, as well as our YouTube page. A lot that we got there from Shefty about Jaylen Carter and, of course, the Tank Bigsby trade and a whole lot more. Check it all out. All right, coming up next, a couple more of these 50 home run trivia questions for you. We have our winners for the Temple tickets, Johnny, that we will announce on the other side. We asked for people to give a legitimate reason as to why they want them on the text line because it's a big game, man. It's Temple OU, why not? Let's have some fun. Also, with all the excitement about this Sunday's game between the Eagles and Chiefs, the excitement that we've seen so far through the first 2 games of the Phillies series with the Mets, I have something from the Sixers I want to bring up well before Game 1. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies hang 9 on the Mets. I'm Connor Thomas, and it was a great night at the bank last night as the Phillies took down the Mets behind 9 runs, 13 hits from the offense. And, oh, by the way, Ranger Suarez was dominant as well. He threw 6 scoreless innings. He allowed only 1 hit, and 12 strikeouts is a career high for Ranger. But that wasn't the only milestone that was reached last night.
3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50! Kyle Schwarber has just hit his 50th home run of the season.
Believe it or not, in that audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia, Schwarber was only the second Philly ever to do that, behind only Ryan Howard, who hit 58 back in 2006. The Phils leading the division is now 9 games. Game 3 is tonight at 6:45 with Christopher Sanchez on the mound against Clay Holmes. The Eagles got news from the NFL that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for the Week 2 matchup with the Chiefs. We'll find out today with Nick Sirianni meeting with media at 12:10, or maybe we won't, if he'll be suspended internally. So we'll keep you updated on if the Eagles have any repercussions. We'll get our first injury report of the week today ahead of the matchup at Kansas City. This update's brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
.27 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm going to hit you guys with another 50-plus home run trivia question here momentarily. We'll get our Temple tickets winners. But real quick, I'm just curious. We're not going to joke around here. It's a legitimate question. So, Did you guys see the photos and the quick little snippets that the Sixers posted yesterday online?
I did not.
I did. I saw them just this morning, though.
Couple of photos of Joe, VJ Edgecombe, Jared McCain, and then they had some of the videos. VJ Edgecombe with the dunk, vicious, right? Vicious dunk. I'm excited to see that.
I can't wait to. I'm actually really excited to see it. I love that.
Paul George was benching.
Yeah.
But Embiid, it was like a 10-second clip. Catches the ball, high post. Jab, pull up, jumper. No brace. And looks thin.
No, he looked good.
He looked good.
He looked fit.
We are all going to wait for when the moment comes where he unfortunately gets banged up again. We all do. What is your mentality going into this season following that disaster that was last year? And I'm not trying to be like, go Sixers.
No, I can't.
I'm curious what the mentality that you guys will have and the mentality that this city will have going into a season following just an awful, awful year of Sixers basketball for many reasons.
I think it's clear is that the Sixers have no goodwill or good grace. They have to earn it.
Sure.
So I'll wait till like Christmas time. I'll watch.
Yeah.
I'll wait but any objective enthusiasm or excitement about what I think they can be will be generated after like 25 games.
Gotcha.
So that's what's going to be. I'm going to see if they choose to pick and choose when they play.
Right. All right.
You know,
all that stuff. Look, everything that you say is.
But I mean,
fair.
I'm not going to go into the season thinking that they're just going to be a total poop show.
No, I mean last year was.
I don't want that to be. Because I don't want to live it again.
I never want to see that again.
I don't want to go through it again. It was miserable, and part of it is I'm a selfish SOB, and I don't want to do this for a living and have to do that, and have to deal with that every day.
Yeah, Connor.
So I'm going to have expectations for some guys on the team. I'm at the point where the focal point is no longer Joel Embiid and Paul George to me, right? But there has to be life after those guys. Yeah. And while they're a long shot with those guys to win anything, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes, Justin Edwards, guys like that, I'm going to be watching to say, are these guys true good to great NBA players? And what can you get out of them right off the rip? Because what Maxey did last year was not enough. No. And whether Joe's hurt or Paul George is hurt or not, I need to see more out of him this year.
So you're watching more for the young guys with the added, maybe cherry on top if they play well because of everyone else.
We'll see. I'm with you, Johnny, on the Christmas thing.
Like around give me like a early with Eagles playoff time.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna let this thing breathe.
For like what the team could be if they have a chance in an open Eastern Conference. But from Jump Street,
right? I'm not
the young guys.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm very excited by some of these young guys, and I love watching a young team develop.
Yeah, sure.
If the Sixers go out this year, and George and Embiid play, and let's say George and Embiid each play. Let's go really Disneyland on us. Let's say they each play 55 games. And the young players get a ton of playing time. I'll be very entertained by that. Like, I love watching young players because then I start thinking about the future and going, wow, this team might be able to,
right?
Maybe you move on from Paul George and I start thinking about the future. I love watching young players. So that's good.
All right. Give you some more of these trivia questions.
Right.
So, Ohtani is 2 shy of 50. Judge is 6 shy of 50. Eugenio Suarez is 5 shy of 50. If all three make it, this will be the first time in Major League Baseball history where 5 players would have hit 50 home runs in a single season.
Okay.
Twice we saw it happen with 4. One year was 1998. The other was 2001. Which year would you like to try to attack first?
Do 98 first.
All right.
I think Connor, I want to run at this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we already... And I'm not going to take a point for McGuire and Sosa.
Let's do this. You do 98. I do 01.
Okay.
Whoever gets more gets the point.
Okay.
There you go.
Let's do it. It's good. I'm going to go McGuire, Sosa, Griffey right off the bat.
Correct.
I'm racking my brain on the fourth one, and I think I know it.
All right. I have a question for this specific player. Would you like the question for added information?
Well, no, what I'm thinking... Let me guess the one I think it is first.
Okay.
Let me give you this. Is it Albert Bell?
It is not Albert Bell.
Albert Bell, I would have thought hit 50 that year.
He hit it in 95.
Okay.
The trivia question.
Give me the
Journeyman.
Okay.
Hit 50.
I know the answer.
With one team, the next year 45 with another.
I know the answer.
Who is it?
Greg Vaughn.
Greg Vaughn is correct.
It's a great poll by
he played
you.
for 5 different
teams. It's because when you said
Schwarber.
When you said journeyman.
Yeah.
He was the absolute journeyman, and then that was the juiced up year.
Who did he hit it with? The Padres?
With the Padres.
That was his
And the next year he hit 45 with, I forget who it was.
He was
the Reds, maybe.
Milwaukee? It was Milwaukee before the Padres.
But it's amazing. That's Schwarber, right? Schwarber's been Cubs, Nationals, Red Sox, Phillies.
He was with 3 teams in 4 years.
Yeah.
Because he was a little juicy, I think.
Schwarber was with 3 teams in that many years before he came to Philadelphia.
All right, Connor, you get 01 then.
We already had Luis Gonzalez.
Correctamundo.
Sosa did it again in 01.
That's true.
McGuire again in 01.
No.
Okay. So that's my one miss. So I got to get one more to even it.
Right.
Who else would have been 01? Griffey wasn't still hitting 50 in 01. No, I don't have it.
Not. Alex Rodriguez.
Alex Rodriguez.
With the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
And the historic season. Bonds hit 73 that year.
Oh, my.
See? That's terrible by me.
73. So
See, now the one thing is I thought you were going to say A-Rod.
No, yeah.
I thought you were going to say A-Rod.
I don't know why I didn't think A-Rod.
It's 4.5 to 2.5.
I just think
with
so
one
much
segment left to play.
For
That's
me,
not
like
good.
A-Rod is so much me growing up. Like I think about that Yankees World Series against the Phils that I always think about him mid-2000s rather than early. But
Sure.
I forget about those Rangers years.
All right. Give us the 2 winners of the Temple, Oklahoma tickets. And I know you have the texts ready because we asked the people if you truly wanted to go. Because this is a really cool experience on Saturday at the Link. If you don't get to go there often, or if you're ready to show your Temple pride, or if you want to see an SEC school, which is not something we get to see often. Obviously, St. Joe's doesn't have a football team. Villanova's not a Division I football team. Drexel doesn't have a football team, right? So this is your chance to see it with Temple. What are the people saying?
Corey from Philadelphia is our first winner, and he texted in and said, I'm a Temple alum. I want to take my son. He's never been to the Link, and I can't afford Eagles tickets.
All right.
And that right there was enough
That's
for
a
me.
good one.
Now, there's a theme with these 2 winners, courtesy of Andrew Salciunas, because I know you've got young Coop at home.
Yes.
And you know what? We got another good one, too, here from John in Warrington, who said, I would like them because back when my buddies went to Temple 10-plus years ago, we had amazing times at the tailgates. Now, 10-plus years later, it would be great to take my now 4-year-old to his first football game at the Link.
How about that? We were probably going around the same time. We definitely were. So congratulations to you both. You have won the Temple tickets, each a pair of Temple tickets for Saturday's game against number 13 ranked Oklahoma at Lincoln Financial Field. Get your tickets today by visiting alstix.com. I am not taking Coop to this one. I just want to enjoy a game without worrying about pretzels or potty or too loud. So me and Pop are going. Me and my dad.
It's going to be a little crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I expect there to be a little bit more people this time around. And that's exciting.
Should be good.
All right, coming up next, text messages, key 3, and a couple more 50-plus trivia home run questions, courtesy of Kyle Schwarber hitting those number 50 last night. Just the second time in Phillies franchise history, just the 34th player in Major League Baseball history to do it. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Attention, Delaware Valley. 97.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Keller.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 9.
It is 9:40 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Real quick, an interesting post by Kelly Oubre yesterday on social media.
Wait a minute. He finally tracked down the video of the truck hitting him? They finally got that video?
That's not what I'm getting at.
Oh, I thought he had it.
So there's obviously a lot of speculation of when Quentin Grimes will sign his restricted free agent contract or if they work out some other sort of deal. And there is a way to maybe get him more locked up by moving on from Andre Drummond and Kelly Oubre. So it's strictly from a basketball standpoint. So Kelly Oubre on social media, I guess, took exception to people wanting to move on from him in order to lock up Quentin Grimes.
Do people want to move on from him? Or
I
is
don't,
it just
I don't know.
like it has to?
I'm sure there's some people that would rather have Quentin Grimes than Kelly Oubre, and maybe Kelly Oubre takes a certain way. Here was his post. I love Philly, but the love doesn't seem to be reciprocated. What happened to this place? And for those saying I'm garbage because my three-point percentage went down, I still put up numbers, and I'd still cook you. I played through finger surgery on my left hand, thumb, and pinky for 3 years, but still put my soul in this bleep. That's one thing only God can take from me. Hope to see y'all soon. Godspeed. I like Kelly Oubre a lot. I think he is a bench player. I don't think he's a starter. I think this team has dealt with so many injuries that he's had to be a starter. He's the guy that can come off the bench and score 3 baskets in a span of 2 minutes. And that's what I want him to be on a basketball team. He does not facilitate.
Okay.
His defense is okay.
Right.
Like
It's okay.
I like Kelly Oubre.
He's a nice player.
I don't see hatred toward him.
Who's ever hated on Kelly Oubre?
Look, I'm sure there's some guy.
Well, definitely.
He seems to be a guy that's online a lot, so he probably.
Oh, I know,
he
living in the
probably
phone.
sees it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he probably sees it.
He's probably trying to track down video of the incident.
I would like to see Kelly Oubre back next year.
So would I.
But strictly as a bench piece. Like
yes. If you're using him as a
15
starter,
minutes.
you're not going anywhere.
Right.
Honestly. And that's not trying to take a rip at him.
No.
He's great as in a role that's super.
Well, and his role is attack, right? His role is not, let me be a part of an offense where I'm going to facilitate. Like, that's just not how he plays basketball. And, that can work for a team that needs a scoring punch off the bench.
I don't see any concerted effort in this town, though, people negative on Kelly Oubre.
I don't either.
No, but I don't know what his DMs are like. I don't know what his mentions are like.
Then he needs to put the phone down.
Yeah,
there's a great way to just avoid that, because if you don't have to deal with that.
Seems like that's a normal.
You don't have to deal with it.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I'm gonna give you 2 more questions because I want to see if John can even up the score. Connor's up 4.5 to 2.5. All right, let's give you shared a last name with a fellow All-Star on his team.
Oh, Andrew Jones.
Yes,
that's really good. That's really good.
That's good work by you. I thought you would get that, Mr.
That's a great
ATL.
one. That's a great one.
All right. This man had 3 seasons where he hit over 20 home runs, and magically one of them was a 50 spot. Magically. We have no idea how he could have done it.
He had 3 seasons?
Where he hit at least 20-plus home runs, and one of them surpassed 50.
Well, that's not Brady Anderson, then.
It is Brady Anderson.
Oh, well, good. Okay. Well.
He only hit over 20 home runs 3 times.
He all did it for the cover.
It was like 21, 24, and 50.
He did it for the cover of Men's Fitness, and he did it all naturally.
Yeah.
He much like my boy Lenny Dykstra. All natural. They're very similar.
All right, I'm going to give you a chance to win. You're going to get double points for this. All right, John?
By the way, Nails and I now Nails DMs me and everything.
Oh, you guys are boys.
Oh, now he's like, yeah, best buddy.
All right, from 1930 to 1949, this is why this is for you.
This is why trivia is like
there was 7 different times a player hit at least 50 home runs, 2 of which did them twice. Give me one player from 1930 to 1949 that hit 50 home runs in a season. Babe Ruth, not one of them.
Roger Maris.
Nope.
No, I don't know.
That was 1960.
I don't know.
Give me. Let me pull out an old baseball name here. Hack Wilson.
That is correct. Hack
Very
Wilson
good.
in
Jeez.
1930 for the Cubbies. I mean, he's got a great name. You have to guess.
You got to
Hack
remember
Wilson.
Hack Wilson.
Come on, Johnny.
How about the golf coach of Georgia's, Chris Hack?
Oh, see?
That's a great name.
One of the,
Not
no,
good-
not for a
good for
golf
golf.
coach.
No,
Best,
you don't
one
wanna
of
be
the best golf programs in the country. Coach Hack.
Yeah, you don't want that. Connor, you're our winner. Congratulations.
Good job, Connor.
You win
Thank
nothing.
you.
What do you win?
All right, what do we
Nothing.
got on the? He gets to read us text messages from the people. What do we got?
Boy, my favorite thing. We got a lot of people checking in. This texter on the Jaylen Carter thing. This is a first-time texter. They just say simply, Carter has already been punished. Let it go. Move on. No need for anything from the Birds.
Look, again, we're not like demanding punishment. I've heard that other places. We're not demanding punishment. We're just wondering, look, he got benched for a quarter because of being late to a meeting. Now,
Correct.
the Eagles could
What was the second violation?
right.
supposedly?
Yeah, but this counts more than being late for a meeting, spitting on somebody.
Yes.
I was just wondering, would the Eagles do it despite the NFL saying, hey, we're not going to suspend him now? I think Adam Schefter made a good point when he was on with us, and you heard it again in the best 5 minutes, that the Eagles worked so hard to have him not get suspended that maybe that is your answer, that they're not going to. But I wonder if maybe he had a more difficult week of meetings this week.
There you go.
I would imagine he got sent to the principal's
No,
office.
I'm going to bet that on Friday at the facility there was a smaller players-only meeting directly with Jaylen Carter with just certain players.
Sure.
And I think that probably checked in with him. That's my guess. Some of the veterans probably had a little discussion because post-game, Lane Johnson said we would be talking on Friday.
Yeah.
And I would bet that Lane Johnson talked to him. And Lane Johnson is a guy who honestly, and he talks about it candidly, where he says he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. He screwed over his teammates twice.
Yeah.
Doing things that were inappropriate. And Lane Johnson is a spectacular leader now. Lane would be the perfect person to talk to Jaylen Carter and say, Jaylen, I screwed up too. I messed up too. I did dumb things too.
Right.
And you know what? I fixed it. I worked it out. And I fumbled up again.
Yeah.
And did it again and learned. Learned from me. So it's great.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you guys something real quick.
Sure.
Jaylen Carter takes an unsportsmanlike penalty for something else, not like spitting, but maybe standing over someone or doing something like that. What's the reaction of the fan base?
When is he doing it? Is he doing it Sunday?
No.
Because if he does it Sunday, he's a dope.
Right, but like
he would be a dope.
Week 5, week 6,
I'm
does
not-
that build on
Here's
this?
here's the reaction that you get from the fans, and it's the exact same reaction that Nick Sirianni had with Derek Barnett. It's always him.
No. Tell me about how the Chiefs game went, the Rams game went, the Bucks game went, and if he's balling out, he's one of our best players.
No, but you're going to say it's always him.
Nobody will give a damn.
Nobody will give a damn?
No one will give a damn.
I think
If
some
he's-
people will.
If he is if he's like our best defensive player and he's being a monster out there, and you're saying like 5 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, he takes an unsportsmanlike penalty, no one will care because he's our best defensive player. You'll care if you do stupid stuff that gets you suspended from a game.
Yeah.
Sure.
But if he's our best defensive player, people will be like, dude, he gets a pass.
Hey, let's hope we don't have to find out.
Yeah.
And I believe it will happen. By the way, I do believe that's going to happen. He's not going to totally change because I think if you take it all out of him, it's going to be a problem.
By the way, it's that time of the year again. Jadeveon Clowney is now meeting with teams. The
Really?
Dallas Cowboys have Jadeveon Clowney in. He has now played. Can you guess his teams before we get to the key three?
No shot.
No.
Texans, obviously. It's where he started.
Seattle. Twice?
Nope.
I thought he did Seattle
One
twice.
time, 13 games.
Really? Houston?
Houston was the start, yeah.
Cleveland?
Cleveland for 2 years.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Baltimore,
Wow.
and last year, Carolina.
Wow.
Oh, that's right.
Remember he was like ripping Philadelphia fans or something?
That guy, man.
He's making his tour. All right, it's time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. 3 best minutes from today's show.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
This is the second best team in the league. And 2 weeks ago, they were still the second best team in the league.
Yeah, and 2 weeks ago, you could say that the Mets, whether you want to say week to week, the Phillies play good baseball or bad baseball, you could say that a team like the Mets had the Phillies number, where they may have
they did
tendencies. You play that team enough. We saw it for whatever reason. Finally, last night, they were able to hit Sean Manaea, right? For whatever reason,
Correct.
Sean Manaea had a book on the Philadelphia Phillies in the playoffs last year, regular season last year, and up until last night, he had a book on the Phillies where he was able to pitch effectively. So it's not like just, oh my God, the Mets, oh my God, the Phillies. There is a reason why a team can beat a team over and over again. Now, fortunately, as this has been Sanity Week, as I've been saying since Monday morning before Game 1, this has been a good return
so we can put
for
this
what we've
all
seen
away.
so far.
All the Mets paranoia, we can put it away, right?
It should make everybody feel better. I feel better this morning. They suspended him for being late to meetings. Now, I'm not sitting here saying I want him to teach him a lesson. No, I want him on the field for 4 quarters against Patrick Mahomes, but
I'm going to be surprised if they just let this thing go. If they don't do something.
I will be surprised as well. I will be surprised as well.
I will actually, though, I think I'm going to be happy if they don't. Which is hypocritical.
This is one of those, dude, you used the perfect word. If my son did that, go to your room, no TV, right? No snacks. Go to your room, come down for dinner. All right, if you spit on somebody. But my son's not playing Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend, right? Like, I want to see Jaylen Carter, and I saw what happened with the Eagles defense without Carter. From ESPN, Adam Schefter joins us.
I appreciate the honor.
I'm sure you're honored. Now, Shefty, is there still a chance that the Eagles could do something this upcoming Sunday? Last year, he missed an entire quarter, was benched an entire quarter for missing meetings, being late to meetings, I should say. Is there still any chance that the Eagles say, hey, if that was worthy of 1 quarter being off, this might be as well, or are we all done?
I would guess we're done. Like, the team was fighting for him not to be suspended. So to me, it would be unusual for the team to go to bat on his behalf to avoid suspension and then say, okay, we're going to sit you for a quarter. Again, the NFL, the league itself, determined that the punishment was retroactive to last week. So to me, I would think the team would stand by that. I'm sure, obviously, the team has had conversations with Jaylen about how that type of behavior is unacceptable.
His name is Steve Degler, and he's going to join us now here on Kincade Salciunas. Steve, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
We're doing great.
I want to ask you about somebody that we're all obsessed with, and it's Justin Crawford. Is one of those names that everybody wants to hear more about. And we look at guys and some of the big names in the organization. When you look at the tree of talent that the Phillies have down below, can you tell us a little bit about what you think about that tree and Justin Crawford?
I love the guy. It's been so much fun to watch him all season long. Unfortunately, he's on the injured list right now because Otto Kemp, of all people, took him out last week in a collision. He has been impressive since day one. And I know there's been a lot of talk about ground balls and power. He's only 21. Power is the last thing to come. He's hit some more home runs since the All-Star break. He just gets on base and he creates havoc. Now, I don't know if he's going to come back in the regular season. I don't know what the medical situation is, but he has a chance to set 4 single-season records for the Iron Pigs if he comes back in time. Now, he's going to get the batting one. He's going to shatter the highest batting average in the season, but he's got a chance for runs scored, hits, and stolen bases as well for the franchise. I mean, he just simply battles up there in every at-bat, fights off pitches, finds a way to get on him, and just creates chaos. He has been great to watch at the top of the order as a table setter for the Iron Pigs.
All right, that is the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 best minutes from today's show. Check out the deal of the week, by the way. 4-pack of tickets to the Treehouse World for half off. Adventure
you
awaits.
Coop over there.
Yeah, he would love it. No, he's like little monkey man right now.
He'd love it.
Adventure awaits. Climb, zip line, and explore at Treehouse World in Westchester for half the price. Get this exclusive offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals.
Thanks, FT Young Heating and Air Conditioning, for making a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research. You can do it today at 975thefanatic.com/AACR. I'm living proof because cancer research saves lives. I have a number for you, and DJ gave it to me.
What up, DJ?
A Iron Pigs, big AAA guy. He says they had it on one of the AAA broadcasts that the season that Justin Crawford had at AAA, it is the second best statistical season ever that has not led to a player getting a call up to Major League Baseball.
Wow.
That's crazy. And to me, it is capital C criminal.
It's a shame he's behind a stacked outfield. He's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
blocked.
Yeah, stay.
What can you do?
Criminal, absolutely criminal.
Max Kepler's got to play.
Second best season statistically ever that did not lead to a player getting a
Well, when
call-up.
Castellanos gets traded this offseason and they don't re-sign Max Kepler, there will be room for him.
There'll be room. He'll be
You
here
know
next
that's
year.
gonna happen. Yeah,
So,
he
which
will
would be which would be great. I'm going down tonight, so I'm going down the Phils
Enjoy
tonight.
yourself
Looking forward to
tonight.
that. A Christopher Sanchez night, and I
Love
feel
that.
embarrassed that I wanted to go on Nola night, but I said, yeah, I don't want to
I
go
don't know
on
why
a
that's
Nola night.
embarrassing.
Well, no, I'm being honest. I was like, if I go on a Nola night and then he poops the bed, it's going to be awful.
I don't blame you at all.
So looking forward to
Pitched
it.
really well, though. Good for him. Tomorrow, one day closer to kickoff, but also big day tomorrow. Packers Commanders.
Can't wait for that.
That's an NFC. Let's watch and see
It's
what
pivotal
these.
to us.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very pivotal.
Let's see what these teams are like tomorrow.
Let's go, Pack, go.
Yes. Unless you think they could win the one seed.
Then maybe it's go Commanders go.